Here's a message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron. The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires in a form your body can easily use and put to work. every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are the way. We are the way. We are not alone. We are striving for more.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs, if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset, start taking iron today.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
It's ham day, baby!
Tina, come get some ham!
How dare you!
Sorry, I'm just gonna sit here and mash buttons all day. TGIF, everybody.
It's Friday, my dudes.
It is Friday, my dudes. What a weird Friday it is. It's my anniversary today, by the way. Happy anniversary to Dixie and I. Isn't that nuts?
Happy anniversary, man.
Yeah.
God,
happy anniversary.
Keeps dates and actually use it.
I'm not generally either. I think Dixie reminded me yesterday, but she had forgotten today, so I reminded her today.
Well, tell her thanks for sharing you with us today. That's really sweet. I love Dixie.
Let her know.
Congrats, my friends.
She is just upstairs.
Big congrats. And what a wonderful, love her. Love her. So it's a happy anniversary.
It is a happy anniversary. Here comes the lone straggler himself. So I guess I can get in and introducing everybody. This is Have No Sphere. My name is Josh Corey, and it is just a weird Friday for me. I don't know, just strange energies everywhere I look. So as one of those sort of empathic people, it makes it kind of a fucked up day all around. But there is no place that I would rather be on a Friday night than right here with all of you fine folks. Let's jump right in and say hello to the gang, starting off with Mr. Zachary Zabala. You might know him as Good Times for All here on the YouTubes. Zach, how the hell you doing?
Hey, Josh. Hey, everybody out there in YouTube land. Oh, yeah, kind of one of those days here. Just low end. It's raining out. It's chilly. Never really saw too much of the sun, you know? But yeah, it is kind of... that energy's flowing around here as well. But I got a lot of rest. I did. I did a little bit of stuff after the show earlier and then crashed. I got like 3-4 hour nap and it was like sleeping. So yeah, I'm ready.
Nice. Still trying to do all the little things I thought I had gotten done, but apparently didn't because it's a weird day. All right, but I think I'm good now, at least for that. Sorry, I don't know where my clock went. I'll have to refresh.
Yeah, I wish we could play the first minute of that slap video, but I doubt we don't need to lose our backup channel. But Lucas found something. We'll drop it in chat. It's hilarious, folks.
It was pretty funny.
Something with it, yeah.
We need to try to find that original video, see if we can't modify that just a little bit.
Yeah, that was funny ads.
There he is.
Ironworks one. That's the go.
There we go. Let's say hello to Lucas King, LC King there on YouTube. Lucas, how's your Saturday? going?
Yeah, Saturday morning. No, it's been pretty busy. Yep, just helping Alex. She's getting ready for a wedding, so sort of helping her load up the cool room and all the rest of it. And then, yeah, then I'll be going out to help out later on. So, yeah, pretty good. But, yeah, that's about it.
Well, sweet.
So what do you do at the wedding?
Well, I do as I'm told.
Good answer.
No, I'll probably be
wise man.
Yeah, sometimes I do a bit of waitering, and sometimes I'll also, help organize, park the cool room or do manly stuff, and then also I do a little bit of the frying if that needs to happen for some of the entrees and stuff like that. So yeah, whatever's necessary.
That was the right answer, Lucas. Your first answer was absolutely correct.
Yeah. No, I don't mind it, and it's a little bit social. It's just sort of I don't mind being the waiter and handing people things. They're always appreciative of the food, obviously.
Sorry, I'm still playing, trying to figure out where my clock went to. Let's say hello to Mr. Walter Johnson. You might know him as Flat Earth Head on a little channel he's got here on YouTube. Walter, how was your Friday, sir?
It's good. It's a Friday, my dudes. It's been weird, as you say. So, I don't know. There's no point in hammering on the weirdness. We all are dealing with a lot of weirdness right now. But, yeah, it's been a good Friday, generally speaking. Good show this morning. Lots of topics I wasn't expecting that got really awesomely deep and definitely need to be addressed. If you guys aren't up on First Amendment audits, then definitely check out some of this morning's show. Find out what your rights might be, especially in regards to videoing or photographing folks out and about that might be causing you trouble. I'm looking at you, Allison. No, I know Allison's ready. Shout out to the chat. I'm not going to call the names right now because I'm struggling with my video for some reason. It seems like my picture looks horrible. I'm not sure what's going on. I reset and did all my good stuff. Oh, I bet I didn't put my overclock on. Anyway, I'll fix that later. How are you all?
Well, I want to give Mr. John Savage a quick shout out. Savage! Enjoy some time off this Friday. I don't know what the hell he's going to be doing, but he's not going to have to worry about.
Yeah, we miss you, man.
So let's move on along and say hello to Mrs. Cammie Nodell. Cammie, how are you doing? Did you get any sleep at all today?
I did not get any sleep at all today or last night. I'm in that weird energy state. Maybe the full moons are a little bit early, even though it's not supposed to be here till tomorrow. But just in like a dream type of state, where you lay tired and daydream. But I see visions of maps. I see magnets. I got up twice in the middle of the night to test something with UV lights, and it's a strange energy. It's a restless. And now that I haven't slept, a restless, spacey energy. It's a Friday. It's a weird, freaky Friday.
It is a weird, freaky Friday. Well, we don't really have anything planned. We figured after the kick-ass show that we had last week and the kick-ass show that we had the week before, we might want to just kind of decompress and process the amazingness that was Hexagram the last couple of weeks.
And it was a good show this morning. Also, in my awakeness, I didn't join in, but I sure listened and played in the chat. And that was a fabulous show this morning. Things were flying off topics. Now,
sorry.
Cammie's walking. Cammie's walking.
No, I'm here. My headphone could be being weird.
Oh, okay. It just sounds like you might have been heading for the kitchen again. So yeah, this morning we kind of touched a bit, in addition to the audit stuff, we talked about the current science fiction hit that's going on along right now. Everybody's watching and talking about that. What is it? That movie, Perseverance, Mars, something. I can't remember. I haven't seen it yet. But I hear good things about getting good reviews. People, what the fuck is wrong with people, man? At this point, anyone that's seeing this shit and thinking it's real, I have no hope. Of course, we've been watching idiots wear diapers on their faces for the last year and a half, so nothing surprises me anymore. That
Didn't
being said,
Elon come out and say it looked fake?
he may
Again?
have. He may have.
No. That wasn't Elon that said that. That was one of the local radio hosts here in St. Louis yesterday. I heard on the radio.
Oh, okay.
She said it looks so amazing and so beautiful, so science fiction-y. No, not so science fiction-y, because that was a different quote. It was so beautiful.
No. NASA said that.
NASA was the one that was said science fiction.
They are literally saying that it looks like a science fiction movie. You know, because it's got perfect camera angles and perfect resolution and perfect background. And everything's fucking perfect. And if you've ever used a GoPro, you fucking know that ain't real. Anyway, sorry, I'm ranting. Here's the thing. Let's look at atmosphere. Let's look at balloons. Let's look at parachutes. Hey, let's look at fucking drones. I dropped the link earlier in the chat, which I'm not going to share the video because we're punished and we don't want to lose our little backup channel here. So we're not going to show any more videos for a while. But I dropped the link over there for you guys to check it out. It is our friend. Oh man, I've lost my own link. Level Flat Observer. Am I right?
I'm pretty sure
Yes.
that's right.
Level Earth Observer
Level
channel. Go check it out. I dropped the link. It shows a drone, quad drone in a vacuum chamber, failing to fly as the vacuum removes the atmosphere, increasingly losing altitude until it sits on the bottom while the guy's got it at full throttle. We then switch to the NASA test of their amazing new Mars drone. Their test, they have it on a stand. They rev it up, and they pick it up with a fucking string. Because that's how gravity works.
They seriously did, folks. It was attached. Well, yeah, because they wanted to create
Demonstrate.
the gravity on Mars. So they made it buoyant by pulling on it with a string.
It's string theory. I mean, it's science, yeah. I don't know what was better, that or when they did the demo showing it like with the little toy one dropping in the parachute in the demo. And that's another thing that's not going to work without an atmosphere is that parachute. Parachutes, when you're in Earth's atmosphere, you can't even deploy them until I don't know the range, but it's well outside of Mars atmosphere. In other words, you're definitely a lot denser before your parachute will even deploy here. So it's, again, one thing after another. It's crazy. And we sit and we look at it and we say, isn't that pretty? And look at the photography and look, it's just like a movie.
Well, what I want to know is what's the ionosphere on Mars? What's the, electric potential gradient, electrostatic potential gradient they have on that plane? I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that a little bit.
Check it out. They may have encoded it in that parachute if you check. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just so nonsensical. It really is. And there's still people that buy it. I mean, we can't even go to the moon, folks, and they're telling you that we have stuff on Mars. That should tell you something. Just saying.
No.
And I dropped that link again in the chat in case you guys missed it a little bit earlier. So it's there.
And some company founded by the Gateway Foundation is saying that they will have a space hotel by 2025. Imagine 4 is like their magic number for NASA. Everything's 4 years away. But they're looking for funding.
Well, that gives them enough time to get a new regime in the office so they can blame it on them when we don't go.
Well, yeah, Josh brought up a great point earlier when we were chatting about this. And they're looking for funding. They give you a final date as to when it'll be, ready to go and everything and start building. But they're looking for funding. So if you don't get the funding, it won't be by 2025. Is that what you're saying? Do I have to buy it by like this week to be 2025 and then next week would be 2026 and then the week after? Is there a time on? It's all nonsense. It's just to make stupid headlines so people read it and think, oh, space.
Yay, space.
And that really is what it is it's just a way of keeping the headlines in the news every day, that you're bombarded, that you take it that space is real. It's part of the news stories every day. It's part of everything. And it works. Sadly, it works.
Wasn't it Hitler that said, make the lie big, repeat it over and over again, and they will believe it?
If you make a lie big enough and repeat it often enough, the public will buy it, or something to that effect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was it him or was it him, the doctor?
And who wrote Propaganda? Was he German?
Edward Bernays?
Yeah.
The nephew of Sigmund Freud.
Yeah, was he German or Austrian? Maybe.
Yeah.
Austrian, yeah. Well, Hitler was Austrian too, wasn't he? I don't know. That's all his story.
Goebbels. How do you say his fucking name?
Goebbels. If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. The lie can be maintained only for such a time. Sorry, let me go ahead and click this link. As the state to use all of its powers. No, I skipped some. The lie can be maintained only for such a time as the state can shield the people from the political, economic, and or military consequences of the lie. It thus becomes vitally important for the state to use all of its powers to repress dissent. For the truth is the mortal enemy of the lie, and thus, by extension, the truth is the greatest enemy of the state.
Wow. It's legal to be used by the government against the American.
It's pretty amazing when you have the truth being the enemy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a
reading a bit further in that
statement.
link I gave you guys about this. Another one of his quotes: "The propaganda is good, which leads to success, and that is bad, which fails to achieve the desired result. It is not propaganda's task to be intelligent. Its task is to lead to success." There you go. I guess the more you dumb it down, the more people are fucking buying.
Yeah, I never really got into the Freudian stuff and where all that come from, but I did read a bit of Carl Jung, and he sort of separated from Freud and went on his own path. It's not bad to actually. I think he's got I read the biography of him, and it's worth having a read. He definitely takes a different tack to the Freudian sort of everything's related to sex, and I think he was a coke addict anyway. So
enough to kill a horse. Supposedly, that was that was his thing. I think it was liquid codeine was his favorite or something like that. I don't know. I could be mixing him up with somebody else. But yeah, they said he'd take enough daily, enough that would kill a horse if you gave it to a horse.
Yeah, wow.
Don't know.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Yeah, I think he was on a sort of a dark path, but we don't know what the real story between those two were, but I didn't mind some of the ideas that Carl expressed, which were more like using symbology to access parts of your own mind, and at the end of his sort of days, he was sort of wanted to leave the 3D box. So he was explaining this, idea of being, trapped in a 3D reality and moving out from that. So there's some interesting concepts that he expresses, and for anyone that's into that, it's worth having a read.
Yeah.
That's
Have you ever heard the
interesting.
song "Rhythm of the Heat," Lucas, by Peter Gabriel?
No, I don't think so. Maybe.
It's a deep cut track off of his Security album. The one that everybody probably knows from that album would be "Shock the Monkey." That's how long ago we're talking. There's a song on that album that talks. It's kind of the narration of his experience when Young's experience when he was looking at native tribes and watching them do this like dance around this fire, and suddenly he felt this energy take him over, and he got in the mix and started dancing with them and stuff. It's been years ago since I've read the things you probably read about him, but yeah, that song is quite an interesting take on it. Here, I'll share it for you guys in chat.
I just remember reading it and, trying to understand dreams. I was into dreams at that stage and understanding the symbology and, some of the deeper recesses of your mind. And that sort of stuff gives you, I wouldn't say guidance, but it gives you a perspective when you look at your own psychology. And, it's definitely worth delving into for that reason. If you're into dreams and understanding symbolic messages that may be coming through dreams that help you explain parts about your own life or yourself. If it's a route to take if that's what you want to. If that's how you want to, find out more information about yourself. There's many different ways, but that's just one way.
Looks like Adolf Hitler bastardized just a little bit, saying, make the lie big, make it simple, and keep saying it. And eventually they will believe it.
So we were all right.
And the Bells apparently says if you tell a lie that's big enough and you tell it often enough, people will believe you're telling the truth, even if what you're saying is total crap. Richard Belzer.
So, also to take us back and digress, love you some bells. I'm gonna take you entirely back off track. But in electrostatic discharge on Mars, believe it or not, Zach, it took me a long time to get to it. Right now, while you guys were doing it, and I had to go 20 pages deep into a NAP EDU article. But you're going to die because I was scanning this while you guys were talking, and they had to change the whole mechanism on it because they started like this. When an electrically neutral particle collides with another, this is, again, I'm looking just for the information, right? And this is what they tell me. I'm looking for the stats. When an electrical neutral particle collides with another neutral particle, electric charge may be exchanged, so that one particle takes on a positive charge and the other a negative charge of equal magnitude. In Earth's atmosphere, lightning is generated by the accumulation of charges resulting primarily from collisions between ice particles in different sizes in clouds. Do you hear what we're saying now, Zach? Because they don't have this setup on Mars, so they have to have a different mechanism. So when you do your electrostatic potential and discharge, they're just saying that it works differently there than there, and it's they're thinking the thermodynamics of the changing states of water, solid, liquid, and gas play a central role in driving the vertical separation. And on Mars, the water-driven mechanism for charge separation is not present. Charged particles are expected to be produced by collisions and dust storms. But if the particles are well mixed in adjacent volumes containing many particles, a total positive charge would be essentially the same as a total negative charge in each region. So there would be no large electric potential.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if you cut off or
No, I think she cut off.
We missed you.
Did you guys?
Sam.
Oh crap! You missed me.
Yeah.
You have
just
me
about
now?
5 seconds. Yeah, we're here
Okay.
now. It was just about 5 seconds.
Okay, so on here, where I left it, I think I was saying that the water-driven. They're saying that there's not going to be it doesn't have the same mechanism on Mars with the water, so there's no large electric potential differences between parts of the cloud.
That's
or
crap.
between anything.
The water
Okay.
here makes the electric potential difference less because it works as an insulator here on the Earth. It's the greatest
I was
insulator.
already going to send you this article because I had to go 20 pages,
Yes,
just
that
again
makes
to get
no
into it.
sense.
It makes
No
no
sense.
sense at all. And again, they're saying that measurements are needed, and yet we're sending vehicles there. The counterpart of lightning bolts on Earth may be small sparks on Mars. But they're not sure more measurements are needed. While it would be useful to learn more about the electrical activities in Martian and terrestrial dust storms and vortices, the committee concludes that such increased knowledge is not essential to planning the human mission to Mars. So that's page 21 of this article, and I am sending you this.
Yeah, that last little bit they said kind of made sense about
that it shouldn't make any difference on planning a mission at all. That there's no need for measurement.
That
that doesn't make sense.
Because that's what they said.
Static charge on Mars would act like a lightning bolt here on Earth. That makes sense because there is no water as an insulator.
Right, but they're postulating this, but they're deciding that. Here, I'm going to read this verbatim. The committee believes that no further in situ measurements, INSITU measurements, are required to characterize the electrostatic properties of the Martian environment, including those properties associated with dust devils for the initial human missions to Mars. They say that the Viking and the Pathfinder missions support this conclusion. It should be noted that if and when higher energetic rovers are used, the same might not be true. High-speed rovers could conceivably induce a very strong charge, but right now they're waiting for measurements, so they say they should pay close attention.
Yeah, good idea.
And there's high wind speeds. It has everything else, radiation effects. I'm trying to get potential in that. And again, most of this stuff is, I'm on page 25 of
Well,
garbage.
That's just it. Wind is electric potential difference. I mean,
I know. That's what's other. I know it is. Effective, it's a pressure mediation. And I'm reading
children writing these things.
I'm reading out of the scientific site stated in. I'm on a PDF right now. I'm 25 pages in, and they're going into the effect of localized hydrogen and iron that an astronaut will absorb.
Oh, so they're talking about iron, are they?
Yeah. I'm going to be dropping this. Well, I've got to do this, and this is, again, you have references galore. This is a scientific preparations report.
Yeah, and I mean, according to them, the laws of electricity it's irrelevant where you are when you're applying them. They always work the same. Size, you go up in size and it scales. It's a very structured knowledge that we have of how electricity works.
Per meter, it goes volts per meter. Exactly.
Well, I'm even saying, all we have to do is know the charge of its ionosphere and the charge of the ground, and we could do the rest in between. But they can't even give us that. It's crazy. And then the way they say things, it's like they don't even comprehend how electricity works.
Yeah, and again, I'm going into the NASA articles and that to get information on the ionosphere. And instead of giving us our stats, they're telling us that metal ions can reveal previously invisible activity. In other words, they're telling us stories that I can't. That's on all of the different things I'm looking for. In a new study, Maven mission scientists found that Mars' ionosphere is full of metal ions, but they're lacking the measurements of it. It's full of it.
So
see
they
if I
have
can get
metal ions floating.
you.
They have metal floating up around in their atmosphere.
And it could solve the mystery too, by the way. I'm not
I think
sure
that's a
what
little
mystery.
subtle hint there, don't you think?
Okay, this is from Wired. Mars ionosphere cold, lifeless, and filled with heavy metals. By tracking the movement of the metal ions, scientists get a glimpse of the turbulent Martian atmosphere. And again, instead of I'm looking for their information, you know, my numbers that you cross over what you want, the density of the ionosphere and your numbers to work with. Instead of that, I'm getting sentences like, metal could solve the mystery.
Bing.
Maven mission scientists found that Mars' ionosphere is full of metal ions, tiny charged flecks of meteorite pulled apart by atmospheric forces. Because those ions are so hardy and trackable, scientists can use them to study the mysterious, but they can't get measurements on it, but they can, they're trackable. I just don't know with what. Plus, scientists have already,
dark matter.
Hey, scientists have already observed similar metal ions that work in Earth's very different atmosphere.
It's ghost particles.
Yeah.
Come on, it's not dark matter, it's ghost particles.
Here's another article. Again, I don't know if this one's worth doing it, but here's what they have to say when you're looking for that information. They said, we were surprised to see these metal ions in the Martian atmosphere. There you have it. On Earth, the electromagnetic field in the ionosphere winds sort upper atmospheric metal ions into distinct layers, but on Mars, that only happens near supermagnetic patches on the planet's crust. That's where you have your different readings, I think.
Now they're saying metallic ions, right?
Right. They're saying that it's only happening not like in plates like it does on Earth. They're saying it only happens in magnetic patches on the moon's surface. They're creating new science.
Mars's, you mean, yeah.
They're making they're playing shenanigans here again. This is kind of like when they were I went to see because they found where they made their first monopole. And remember I told you about that. They didn't really make a monopole. They made a magnet or a series of magnets plus and minus pressure mediation that was like a snake going all around, and it got it off of its computer page. So it disappeared off the screen.
Yeah, that means
but if we
it is a monopole. They were like, well, it's not really a monopole because the other end of it is here off of the screen. But if you leave that off of the screen, what you're looking at the screen here represents a monopole. This was a TED Talk.
Wow. Unreal. Yeah, so you're looking at half a magnet and you're saying, yeah, that's a monopole.
They have to, I don't know if people know what's going on with this, but in order to match electric and magnetics in their little particle atom bumping theories and so the math works out correctly on things, because they're sure that they're symmetrical in that. So what they can do with electricity, they want to do with magnetism, and they want to divide it into its parts, like into its positive and its negative or whatever. But they want to be able to take those apart. But again, it's like taking apart a river, or taking apart a vortex that you can't just have. If you slice off the top of a vortex, it's not the top of a vortex anymore. But they think it, according to the mathematicians, it has to be possible, and it's what they're going to solve. And a lot of our money in the science industry, I kid you not, a lot of our money is going to solve this problem of creating a monopole so it can match the mathematics of it. And we have countless of thousands of dollars in studies, and you should all look into it, because again, if you just ignore when they talk in their tech language and listen to what's really going on and look at the pictures, it's absurd.
Yeah, well, it's an equivalent of saying, I've got this bath of water and I'm going to get a bucket and 2 buckets and put water in each of the buckets, and now they're different water because they're in 2 different buckets.
They're in
It's
two
just
different
crazy.
buckets, or yeah.
It's like this one's not water and this one is. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're saying that they're going to pull out half of the water of the tub, but only from one half.
But only
You know?
from one half and not, yeah.
And now it's something different.
Yeah.
It's ludicrous.
Because again, they have to mathematically create a monopole. But if you think of what a monopole is, if you've played with magnets again, it's a vortex of energy. It's flowing all around. You can't, you don't get to separate it. You can't. It's not. You can see it, Zach. Zach, you've seen it in Ferrocell. You've seen it in touching. You've seen it in feeling. You've seen how it affects the gyroscope, and you've played around. It's. You can't take a slice of the energy and make it a separate unit. It's. And I don't care how much math tells them it's possible and that it needs to happen and it would solve everything. It's again, you're solving for mathematical problems outside of reality.
In that case, it's if you're thinking as a vortex, in that case, it's really just orientation or the way it spins. And one's up, one's down. So there's your sort of positive and negative. It's just one's vertical and one's
But if you try, you can't have the top of the vortex without the bottom of the vortex. In other words, it's not spinning. You can't isolate the spins and make it a separate unit and use it in a different function away from the bottom part of the vortex.
Yeah, it's like having half an hourglass.
Right.
Half the hourglass doesn't work.
And again, why I don't look at their math. I look at reality. I play with the magnets. I play with Polaroid filters. I play with UV lights and things like that. And I don't let myself get caught up on the math and the tech on it because, again, they're trying to make reality match their brilliant things that they've got Nobel Prizes for. That they made these things work out so good on paper. So it's completely ass backwards.
I always find it interesting, especially with those articles. It's like especially when they bring up iron and these metal, particles and things like that. When I deal with my model, I, sort of Mars would be, if we take the older viewpoint of, say, the zodiac and those other things, then Mars is iron. And so I just find it fascinating that they get mentioned when they bring this in. So it's almost like, someone's doing
back to the mythology. Yep.
Back to the mythology way, yeah.
Yeah, but also someone could be doing real science and then they just take little snippets of it and sort of mix it in with their, it's a turd in the punch bowl, basically. So,
pieces of it are woven in to, again, create it. But iron grows quicker. If you want iron to grow quicker, it will grow quicker when Mars is present above it. I mean, it will actually, you can measure it on the limit.
Yeah, and Mercury rotates.
Mercury will grow quicker when Mercury is present. Somebody knew something sometime. I mean, we're now catching up with it. We are just now catching up with the little things of it. But you're absolutely right, smack dab on target, Lucas, with that.
That's what I always try and put out is that when you look at this stuff, you realize that it is the turd in the punch bowl, and you have to sort of skim through it basically and pull out any sort of. There might be just one little thing in there. There might be nothing, but not to just throw it out completely just because it comes from a particular source. And I try and do that with all my information. Just scan across multiple sources and pick out what I can. Obviously I'm going to end up, my own biases and things like that. But I just think it's a better way of trying to figure out what the hell's going on, in a sense.
It's meant to be done that way, even with the personal bias on it. It's my thought is supposed to go into the process on it, and it's up to you to look at the different connections. And that they, of course, anybody that's ever read a lot of science fiction, which I was a total nerd girl, so I read it all. But anybody that's read a lot of science fiction knows that when you go into books that have prophecy or any type of written work or history or things like that, truth is always laced in with the gibberish. And it's up to the right people to come through that understand and see the truth and pick it out. But as storytelling has anything in history too, the way that it's solved is that you're going to find the truths always intermingled. Nobody, no matter how good they want to be, no matter like how honest you're, so honest, Lucas, I really, really like you and I respect your work. No one person is going to have all of the right. And it's each person picking through, and then the consensus when the right thing hits from that person. But nobody has all of the answers. I mean, that's it. But until you experiment and you throw it out there, and Lucas has this idea, he does it, and then you can cross-reference it. Now I can really cross-reference it out and validate it with the fact that I can pull up studies where they're growing them and see growth conditions. That's a validation for me. In other words, you can do it. These are hits. This is picking the truth out from the Pluto the cartoon dog on the planet, the turd in the punch bowl.
Yeah, exactly. And I accumulate the knowledge as best as I can, present it, and then people, once it's presented, can pick it apart. And that's how you make some progress. And
they will, and the truth parts will get through there. And thank all of us for every piece we can think of to introduce that can make it through the filters, because that's how it works.
Yeah, that's right. And with accumulating a knowledge base and then bouncing ideas, and that's how you really make some quick progress. And I'm all for that. I'm hoping more people pick up what I say and go at it and tear it apart and see if there's anything truth to it for
any
themselves.
Truth to it? Anything to build on with it. Anyway, it felt something with another piece. Everything fits together as a puzzle. So again, it will click in and interact with somebody else's work when things, and again, it's where they really, really start ringing true and hitting it, that you feel the truth in the lines. And I think a lot of truth is coming out by people like you, Lucas, that again, look at it where it is a battery. Do you have every detail right? I don't know.
Doubtful.
Do you claim to? No.
I wouldn't bet on myself,
but you can't. And the same with me in the Meriscope and the different things. If you can't, you have to put it out there to filter it. It's not it adds to the knowledge base. And again, on the knowledge base, some things will be true, proved false. And I will go and I'll disagree strongly with what some people will say science is out there, because science, when you look at it, is not any one test, is not any one rule, is not any one anything. Science, if you look up the history of the word and take it back to word origins, it's an accumulation of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're trying to get at. So true science would be a good accumulation of knowledge that, again, you learn the parts as you go along, but it needs to be done humbly and not for deception. You can people can deceive with it, and they intentionally do.
Yeah, and that's why I leave some of my old videos up. I mean, they're pretty horrible, but and I've made mistakes in them, then I've corrected them in other videos, so people can see a progression. And I think that's always good to do as well. Like, if you're presenting information, show the progression of your own thoughts, and that helps people a lot too.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, when you're learning this kind of information, it's hard to look at anyone like a guru when it comes to this kind of stuff. So if you do act like you do know everything and know it all, and you are the next coming, then that will tend to turn a lot of people off that are actually looking for the information. You might attract a lot of weirdos, I know there's a guy who like to call himself Lord, and threw Christ on there and all kinds of stuff. And I don't know, when you hear people talk like that, that turns off, I think, any truly sensible person that's looking for logical answers and,
Well, I really don't think we're supposed to, have anyone on a pedestal. And this is some of the reason, the way I think when you look at these old gods and the way they're described, they're aspects of nature and aspects of truth, and they encode different ideas. And, they're in essence, in the ways I think about it, there's something that you look up to that's not man. That they're on the pedestal, they're a concept, they're attributes to try to attain, and rather than looking at, or your fellow man, which are gurus or whatever it is, they're bound to have flaws. But these conceptual ideas that you look to, they don't. There's something to work towards, and I think. That's why they're actually really important, and a different way of actually viewing these so-called gods and all that sort of stuff is through this something to work towards, so bettering yourself through a conceptual image. Thoughts on that?
I think you're so spot on, and it's not funny. I think our biggest mistakes throughout history have been, and I could even throw, I'm sure it will ruffle some feathers, because I think it's even in the Bible that we were never meant to worship man. They said it was the message, not the messenger. It was, they kept on making it clear, don't worship, don't put the people on pedestals, and don't, grant them, again, that type of attributes. That's something we aspire to, and something, again, we're children, but it's it's put out there not to do it. So to try to put together the map, or to try to think that you know everything because you're a god like Lord Stephen Christ, it rubs me entirely the wrong way. Nobody should have their name on the map. Nobody should be aspiring to say, I solved the whole picture. I figured it all out. I know how everything works. This is the map, and the world and everything is everybody's, and everybody needs to. It's not a something you get a prize or a award for, or something like that. It shouldn't be at all. It's not what it's about at all. And
well, when you put people on
when you do that,
when you put people on a pedestal, you're automatically setting up an unhealthy relationship, for one, and then you're giving this person or whatever it is more control than they deserve. And so we see that, with all these, whatever it is, politicians or, these gurus and, like Elon Musk's and things like that. You're just you're giving them more than they deserve, and they're not who you think they are. So it's, when I look at the older gods and the conceptual ideas and the literary ideas, can't say that, but I think they're so important to get back to conceptual truths of nature.
Yeah. I'm sorry, and I've been chatty this show, but that set off another article I read. I'm sure that's terrible. And it was saying it was about the flat earth, and it was a flat earth bashing news article. But a psychologist at the end of the article noted that flat earthers were studying and talking about things that throughout history have been what we've aspired to think about and talk about, the important topics. So the psychiatrist did have to give the little nod to it that actually, if you looked at them historically, the thought process and what they're doing is what we've always aspired and have wanted to do. So because we don't like what's going on in politics and that, or how it's fitting in, it's one thing, but the thought process and the way that they're going about and looking and studying and doing things is the thought into it, and the deep questions that we're asking that's something that in the past we've always aspired to, and lately they've fried out of us with the constant overstimulation with the TV and us being under constant war, attack, and scared of everything all of the time. So it takes us out of being able to think about what's really important. I'll be quiet for a while now.
No, you're doing good stuff, lady.
Mm-hmm.
Rant
And
over.
Lucas as well. Y'all are breaking my brain quite often. I think that's part of what we're all kind of battling with personally, as a group here, as a community, if you will, is walking that line between trying to figure this out, trying to look for what the fuck, and trying not to let it inflate our egos. Because we've all gone through it. We've all got excited about something we figured out or something we thought oh, look, this is cool or whatever. And it's great to do that and find something that is a spark of interest for everybody and carries further research on and all that. But it definitely can. I mean, the whole TV culture that everybody's so fucked over by is all about ego satisfaction. Rub that
Yes.
ego the right way. So that's all anybody is really, in the general sense, the public, looking for. You agree with me, I win. You know, my ego's satisfied. It's not about right or wrong, if it's truth or not. I won. My ego is bigger than yours. That's really how it feels a whole lot of the fucking time. Even with people that are supposed to be throwing some truth around, it's surprising sometimes. It truly is.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that, Walt.
Maybe you
it's
should
almost
try,
like
Zach.
people, you know, they don't like one person. So it's whatever they can find about that person to argue with them with, they'll pick that. And that'll be their topic. I don't know. I just don't see the point of arguing. I do get the point of arguing with, you know, the ballers. They need people out there, you know, disproving these people and showing others that they're fools. Because some of them are good at what they do and they can sound somewhat intelligent. So it is nice to watch people pick apart these people and show others that, hey, I guess these guys really aren't all that smart. They just are, you know, really good talkers.
Oh, yeah, they need a slapping. Just like that video.
Only because they have some of the like really abrasive people on the other side that do need to be sought down because they attack us in that abrasive manner and we have to come back with it. But that's the interesting thing about flat Earth is as many flat earthers as there's different flat Earth beliefs and different flat Earth skills and niches and ways that we can help and be effective. And I think everybody should like strive to find what works for them and what they're good at. Is it just talking to people one-on-one and introducing a small group? Is it in front of a group? Is it research? Is it every piece is important. And I think we forget that just and give it to the headliner, somebody that can talk it on the radio and again be the voice, which is nice and something that we're taught with the ego to admire. But all of the pieces are important. Globebusters, the show started with, I mean, Bob adds a ton, so that's not fair because he adds so much technical, but Globebusters, a lot of it was about highlighting all of the different people's work and showing what, you know, wow, you know, letting people know about these small people that are coming out of nowhere with amazing, amazing work. And so, again, even on the big channels, the ways to share that, different ways to help each other and work through. If you get too angry about everything, we're human. So with everything coming out, with living with the mass, people being stupid and everything all around you, you tend to get in a bad mood and angry. And when you're in a bad mood and angry, you can find when you're in a bad mood, it's really easy to look around. Anybody can look around and find ways to feed a bad mood. All you have to do is look around any room, find something that's broken, find something that's missing out of the room, again, you can always find something to be angry about. So it's really important to stop yourself and think, is the anger being directed in the right direction at all? Or am I just like lashing out at everybody around me because I am so angry?
Oh, that's
And that
right.
happens.
With all this nonsense that's going on, I'm not going to deny that there hasn't been a type of pressure, whether it's subtle or, in the back of your mind. It's almost like, you've forgotten to pay a bill and it's just sitting in the back of your mind that you get that done. And the same thing with the whole of this thing is that it's almost like a constant little stress, and it's good to actually recognize that as a stress, and so it doesn't kind of add to your normal routine in a sense, you know what I mean?
It's always good to sit back short and see what's coming from where and how to make the routines play off of each other and help each other instead of bringing it down, because it's so easy with everything going on to get down and to be angry, and then again to argue with like another flat earther about a detail that really in the grand scheme of things doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to prove right or wrong or even have a thing on it, but it's not, we have to learn how to agree to disagree on a lot of the details that we can't touch. And like, for instance, I think the sun and moon are projected from the firmament. Not every flat earther believes that. They don't have to be a flat earther to believe it. I've done a lot of research and there's a lot of good reasons I believe it. But if you don't want to believe it right now, that's fine. If it's true, more things will come up over more proofs, more things will fit in, and it will find its way to the top. But sitting there and saying that, no, it can't be that because it's this, or the measurements can't be measured this way, because I get so tired of hearing people on like measurements and how to measure the earth and measure the drop. And yes, we know our formula is a parabola. We're not measuring around Earth. We're measuring the amount of drop in like a quarter distance on the Earth is what your formula is good for. So people can come up with and manipulate math in different ways, and it can sound very, very right, and you can be very, very sure on it. But before you're so sure on it, like for instance, I know Jaron Campanella was working, years ago on trying to nail out how much the curvature is on the whole Earth. And so you sit there and like, well, or how much drop is there on the whole Earth or whatever. Well, if there's 8 inches per mile, you could take that 1 mile and take it towards the diameter, right? But you're forgetting at each mile, you're changing your vector. So your amount of drop is going to change dramatically if you increment at 1 mile, 10 miles, 100 miles. A lot of our measurements work like that. They came when you're working with a closed, perfect symmetry like the circle or the sphere, what's happening is the smaller you make it to the smaller you make the increment, the more your difference is going to be closer to zero. You could theoretically take the amount of drop on an inch of it and have such a small number that even when you multiplied it towards all the inches, you would still have such a tiny, tiny amount of curvature. And so you'd have like, oh, there's no curvature or drop in the Earth because I made it based on 1 inch increments. The other way that
so it's similar to that sort of doing the edge of a coastline or something like that.
It's the exact opposite of the coastline. It works exactly opposite. It's the exact opposite of the coastline measurements, which the coastline, if you measure it, the smaller measurements you take and the smaller increments you use, the more coastline you're going to get, because it's an irregular surface. So you can take it out that if you make half inch measurements all along the whole coastline, you know how enormous it would be as opposed to if you made 10-mile increments and blocked it off that way. So what happened, for people that aren't familiar with the Coastline Paradox, what happened were a couple of countries in Europe, and I forgot which countries, several countries were doing it, but to get to, when they were doing the European Union to get together, one of the things they requested was the amount of coastline in all of these countries. And they're looking at the countries and they're looking at the amount of coastline, and this little bitty country has like 5 times more coastline than this big country. You're looking at it and the numbers were all over the place. And it turned out, they couldn't figure it out, and it turned out that what happened was they changed their incrementation on measuring it. So if you think of what a coastline looks like, jagged and that, somebody was using 100-mile things, and so with the lines and taking it around, you're not going to have as much coastline as you would if you measured it. Again, think about it visually at a foot or 10 feet, and you're following the jags, then you're measuring around that little nook, around that cranny, along, you're taking every little nook and cranny in there, and when you add those inches up, they start adding together crazy fast. So your coastline paradox is going to give you an infinitely, or not infinitely, but it's going to give you a larger number the smaller the increments you use. And if you put it on a confined, on a sphere, on a closed system, is going to do the exact opposite. It's going to give you the least amount of difference, the smaller measurement, and the closer you stay along on the tight surface, it's going to zero into nothing. So when people argue about how much it drops and does it on that, again, it's usually, think about it, if you're on it, it's where you change your vector and reset yourself. And so they're not right or wrong. People can argue that this one's right or that one's right or whatever, and they can truly, truly believe it down to their toes. I can't make people explain that I can make everybody right or everybody wrong. That's the mathematical game to it. But you have to look at the games that they're playing and remember that's not what we're fighting about. We're fighting about deception. We've been fooled. We've been completely deceived about every basic truth and element in our life. And the people, my enemies aren't the other flat earthers that don't understand how the math works or are trying their best to get it right, but just want to argue it. They don't get it. I don't care. If you want to believe that this is the amount of drop, fine. Believe it. I don't want to argue with you. You don't need to convince me of your method. You don't need to convince me to convince Bob of your method. And the same with, you can take it into different topics. And usually when I say on people doing this, it's amazing. I am married to Bob at Globebusters, but it's amazing how many people will think that they sit there, they do the butter up. It's so, these people don't know me. They don't, oh, I heard that you were the smart one and ran Globebusters and did all of the stuff behind it. And if you could explain this to Bob, and it's like, no, my husband's brilliant. I don't have time. Zach's been in the house. I don't run Globebusters. I do come up with some of the fun stories behind it, the science stories, the little tidbits that he talks about that are, again, you can almost think if you draw the source and it's a YouTube video or a conspiracy site, Bob probably drew it, but if it came from Science and Nature or The Atlantic or something like that, I probably pulled it. But that's, I drop him into his Skype. I don't even talk to him about most of them. I do almost nothing on Globebusters. And so people telling me that I'm smart and run Globebusters in order to like better up so I can explain to Bob, I really couldn't think there's a more stupid argument in the whole world. It's never going to fly.
The other thing, I was thinking about when you were speaking was that, flat Earth in a sense is still just in its infancy. We're still trying to wake people up to the actual deception, and then from there, that we've got observations and things like that. But in general, I still think it's quite young in its development.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's extremely young in its development. And so you have all the different ones, and as people come on facts and like they're proud that, you think you discovered the fact and you may have discovered it, or there may be different ways. Some of them are true, some of them are not true. The truth, again, we're very young. The truth sometimes will take years to sift through all of this information that people are throwing us. And that's
Well, how many
healthy.
years did it take for them to build this lie we're living?
Oh, exactly. And
They're
we're doing it
still
all.
building it. They're still changing it.
Uh-huh. And we're doing it. They're changing it. They have nothing. They say that they know less than 3% about any of it. And so when we're doing this and trying to, all of us freelancing and coming together, there's no reason for us to try to kill each other over differences. Again, sometimes it's smart to agree to disagree. Real science has had to think of string theory versus relativity versus, think black holes. None of their sciences agree. Ours need to. We know when they agree, we know that we find truth and we find closer to the truth. But if you have a good truth, if you have an idea, put it out there. Put it out there multiple times if you think it's good. But you don't need to beat anybody up saying, there's never a reason to force an idea. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, it will never ever get you anywhere to insist or to, no matter how strong you feel on it. Like again, I feel really strongly the moon is round and is celestite, and I've done a lot of research and study onto it. I don't expect everybody to agree with me that hasn't done the research that I've done. There's no way they could agree with me. Do I want to debate anybody on it? No. Do I want to explain anybody the research I've done to get to like that belief? Sure, I would love to go over there. Give me questions and answers. Give me as hard of questions as you can, because I want you to try to trip me up, because if I'm wrong, I want to know it. But it's not about being right or wrong. It's about learning the truth. And learning the truth, you have to take your ego out of the game and say that I want to be wrong if I can learn the truth, if it's not the truth. And I'm not always going to get the truth right the first time. So instead of attacking fellow people because they're stupid for saying that, maybe we should try to help other flat earthers put out that if they're putting out something that is not like known, provable, like a camera projection going across the lake or something like that, that they kind of put in there that this is my view of it and it's not a universal view at this point. That would help a lot. You can't make anybody do anything. I can't make anybody put that view in. And a lot of people doing the videos are sure they know all of the answers. So that's, again, they might have a lot of the right answers. But even if people know things, a lot of the times wrong. I knew that the earth was round or the earth was a sphere for a lot of years, and I wasn't right.
And the other thing that's difficult about this is actually where you go to get your information. Because they've got, like you've said, they've had this lie going on for 100 years. So that means they've had 100 years of propaganda and information out there. So what's left to actually look at, especially when you've had whole generations of people believing that the globe and going along with the model and presenting information on that. So there leaves very little sort of room to actually find out, especially when our history and maybe some of that historic information is actually obfuscated and removed. So it's a really difficult sort of prospect to start bringing back some of this information if there is very little or even, and it can make you look a little bit ridiculous as well at the same time when you try to do that.
Yes and no. I'm going to disagree with you on that one. Agree and disagree with you on it, saying that like in the sciences, people working in science and laboratory fields, just step back and remember that these people were born with little mobiles of stars and moons floating above their crib with their little globe on the corner on their nursery thing with mom and dad and the teachers and everything. Again, they have no reason to think people would lie to them about this, and they're doing in their field. Some of these people, the mathematicians, are truly, truly, truly brilliant people. They are trying to solve, and that's part of the beauty of the globe, the complexities of trying to solve for it are so hard. A spinning, rotating globe tilted on an axis. The list goes on. And so solving for the mechanics on it is impossible. So you take your brilliant minds and you tie them up with nonsense. If we had these minds, if we could call Flat Earth Day that, like, for one day step aside and take the raw data you've collected, because I've been looking at raw data and that, and you can sit and piece it in and apply it things. If you apply it to our model is
exactly
cleaner, simpler. It's not hard to solve to. It's a much easier solve. So in a way, when I'm saying that we need all the pieces and it sounds daunting, impossible to get to it, the fact of the matter is the reason science has gone so astray. It's not because scientists are evil. It's because they've been given the deceptive, impossible task of being geniuses for solving for something that doesn't exist. And if you can come up with something that might make it exist, like relativity, we're going to give you prizes. We are going to name things after you. You're going to be bigger than anything, because again, relativity just could answer and make, otherwise the globe, it can't work. It doesn't work.
Be the level of an Einstein. It can just be a classroom, and if you can repeat their bullshit back the best, you get all the little gold stars and all the little A's and all the little teacher petness and all that shit. I mean, everybody builds their whole ego up on this. You're so smart, you know everything. Of course, they're not going to just go, "Fuck, I don't know anything." That breaks their personality.
And it's sold as education, as a way to teach your children what's out in the world, and again, to learn. So again, you're putting it, and that's again a reason why so many of the flat earthers too are so angry. Is we've been lied to, and it takes a long time for every single one of us. I don't care how well you lie about it, to get over the anger of being like completely deceived underneath it. Even if you didn't know you were angry, I'm telling you to be deceived. If you don't think you were angry, you better think about what they did to you. You better really think about what they did to you, what they did to your family, and what the hell they are doing to our earth right now, and why we are raping it and killing it to get something that's given freely. Something freely that they want to give. We're being tricked to rape. We're being tricked into creating the garbage, into doing all of this stuff. Electricity, we know how it works in the air. Zach, you do now. And with the ticky-tack and the things we do, again, we run the wires, we pollute, we do things. It's part of the evil. I mean, to me, it is the evil.
And if you think about it in the context of, manpower and energy put into these things from, all different, from everyone in a sense, it's just ginormous amounts of human energy going into something that doesn't produce any results or any benefit for humans. So, that is a frustration that should be recognized as well, because that's a hell of a lot of not just money, just human thought, human mental activity.
Oil, things that could be making food, things that could be making, again, working on bettering real education, thoughts, real philosophy, nature, the perma-gardening, things that could be going in so many directions, and instead we've turned this into such an evil game.
This is the thing, like, if you imagine for a moment that you actually were able to withdraw people's attention from that for a second and put it onto something that was actually, beneficial to everyone around them. We could go from pretty much 0 to 100 in in a year. You know, if people's minds concentrated on, you know, the benefits, and and wanted to get to truth. So it's just amazing how stunted our world has become, and how quickly we could change that as well.
And how quickly is really, how quickly as possible. Again, if we had scientists, it might not be in a day, but I honestly believe that in under a year's time, if we had our scientists looking at the correct, not the lies, but the reality, and again, just give them the access to the data, because you're taking data, and again, you can interpret it one way, you can interpret redshift as Doppler, you can interpret redshift as tilt, you can interpret things differently, so you can look at the things again with your different ways of interpreting the phenomena, but I think if we even had them for like honestly a year, right now we have less than 3% of things figured out, is what they're saying. I would say that we could get up to like 80% in a year if we actually gave our people a fighting chance. I mean, gave them any kind of, just gave them a true baseline, nothing else, but saying that the world, that it's flat, it's not round. It's, take your numbers and go ahead and now rework some things. Let's put perspective in here. Let's see how the thing, again, do that and apply it. It really would not. It's a flat model. It's not that complicated. Not by comparison.
And the thing with this also is that the spirituality and science are not different things. This is, I try and bring this point home, that they actually correlate, because they're both based on reason, true science and true spirituality. So in actual fact, you would find that not only would your science increase, but the spiritual nature of humans would actually increase in tandem.
I think it would have to. I think if humanity walked out, people walked by the river, picked up the rocks, really understood how quickly they're growing, grew some crystals, grew some flowers, grew some vegetables, looked at what's around them,
I was
and
stop.
That
very thing. Just look a bit. Just look.
Just
take
stop
the phone out
and
of your hands,
look.
off the fucking TV and look.
Yeah. Just take off the electronics and look and pay attention. That's all it would take. It's just looking. And we don't. We're trained not to. I mean, we have people looking for Pokemon that get in fatal accident or whatever because they step over cliffs because they're looking at the screen.
Hey, man, what are you talking about my Pokemon? I'm just kidding.
I
don't even play anymore. I play, but not like I used to. Yeah, I'm addicted. Help me.
It's all right, Walt.
No, it's true though. It really is. It's all true. And what's amazing is, just little words, little things, little seeds will pop it up and something will grow. You said that to Zach earlier, Cammie, about the electricity out of the air. That reminded me of somebody on Twitter yesterday. They had a little thread with some kind of new, weird, wind-driven electricity creating thing. I dropped it in the chat. I'll drop it in this chat here on YouTube, but it's all about the idea of pagodas and things like that swaying in the wind, creating the electricity by the swaying motion. It's pretty crazy. So, just little words, little things will just suddenly branch off, and there's a whole new, line of questioning.
I just found a video today. I'm going to do an article. I'm going to do a video on. They're growing plants sideways by growing them in a horizontal electric field.
Change the field, they grow sideways, just like that.
Wow, there you go. The evidence is all there, yeah.
Yeah, it's overwhelming, the evidence for all this stuff, how it actually works. And the sad part is they don't hide it anymore. This is how it's taught in physics. The fact that, most people think that gravity that makes objects orbit and the gravity that makes things fall is the same thing, and it's not. It was,
they know that.
Newton. Yeah, they know this. I mean, they've been teaching
it's
it
like
over
they know crystals
years.
grow.
Yeah, Newton, this was Newton's idea. Then Einstein came along and all that changed. And they even knew about the electrostatic charges and how they affect this place. I'm working on a video right now, and the paper on the theory of gravity talks about the charges, the bodies they're talking about have neutral charges, meaning they're not interacting with each other electrically. Well, nothing here in this realm that we know of does not interact electrically. It's all connected. Just the air itself means that it's all connected. So
I would
this whole
actually say electrochemically.
yeah, electrochemically, exactly. It's everything.
Yep.
And the rest
Sure
is
is.
pressure mediation.
Yeah, trying to balance out those two polarities.
Yeah, you have buoyancy, you have temperature, and then you have like atmospheric pressure. And you have these different things that will mediate.
Lucas, and with the information up there, we have it simple. The other key to it, and the key to understanding is something that and it tells you this right now, something they've avoided all costs in mainstream sciences is bringing the sciences together. They separate and they compartmentalize them. You wonder why do they do that? It's really easy. You go into geology, you see little markings on a rock, and it shows you how that marking was caused by it dissolving in salt water. You see the same markings, and you're an archaeologist, you know that a animal dug a burrow in it and it's a fossil. If you're in this science, you see that same thing, and the sciences do that. What I found with working on the map and like reasons I'm like pretty confident could be put together really, really good by people in that is that unlike compartmentalizing them, when you look at the pieces together in a true puzzle, something happens like in a jigsaw puzzle. The pieces interact with each other and they overlap. They overlap philosophically, they overlap historically, they overlap chemically, they overlap. They start overlapping and fitting perfectly in different ways. And that's where I feel like you have the truth on it. But as long as you compartmentalize the pieces and you just try to solve for each one piece without looking at the whole picture, you can't get to it. That's not how you do a jigsaw puzzle. You have to look and see. It doesn't only have to fit that one little piece where you push the little thing on that one peg thing. It has to fit all the pieces going around it. You might find a piece that fits in that one up against one piece, but it has to fit all of the pieces going around it. And to me, that's the marking of you're on the track to truth.
Yeah, well, that's what I, found when I was looking at, the route that I was looking was that whenever I sort of applied it, what I would find is that things would correlate. So it almost seemed to me after a while that all our sort of electrical technology was based off planetary and the planetary sort of setups. So it was super interesting that way that you could correlate these, the vacuum tubes or different technologies that we use now and correlate it to our world and the movements of the planets and things like that. So it was just, that's just a fascinating field for anyone to look at, or a little rabbit hole for people to go down,
It makes me think of the intelligence of, again, the Hebrew letters when spoken through an oscilloscope. If you collapse the wave function, they make the letters. You see the visual letters, the shadow and a meeting tint on it. It's the same type of deeper layered intelligence that, again, is there for us it's in layers. So the truth is out there and it's buried too deep in layers for them to eradicate all of it. There's still enough pieces of truth. And again, I think it's coming together really nicely. I'm really proud of how far people have come in these last few years. I think it's amazing, and we should pat ourselves on the back, even though it seems dismal now. We've made amazing strides. Talk to people out on the streets all the time now that are flat earthers that have never watched YouTube. I think it may have started at YouTube, but again, people reaching out touching, handing out little cards, getting it word of mouth and that going around. It's really, really snowballed. And I think we should all stop, give pause to that, and give ourselves some hope that we've made a difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you can see it in the popular culture references that are happening now that weren't happening 6 years ago, you know? And it's definitely, I mean, to kind of call back to the show this morning, we were talking about this. You were there in chat, you know, Cammie, the idea of just this revelation happening to somebody all at once, you know? To get all the download of everything you want to know at one time, would that break you? Would it blow your brain? Would it, explode your head? Or would you just burst into solid light? I mean,
I don't know. I burst into tears sometimes, literally. And have even said the song saying all the words I've been reading have started the act of bleeding into one. And it's like, oh my God, they have. They really have. These things are fitting together. It's scary how could I be I was like in Denver, how can I be a stupid girl in Denver putting together pieces and having them look have competency to them. It's crazy.
Definitely is. And again, it's got to be this approach, I think. I don't really think at this physical level, in this 3D incarnation, that we could handle it all at once. I think that's part of why we're here, for that separation from it, that, kind of like, shout out James True, that idea of this Flat Earth Dojo, the idea that, you have to
can't handle the truth.
Time. You have to get there through the training and the rigorous intent, and it's all part of it. It can't just be fed to you. You can sit and be fed TV all fucking day long, and somebody asks you the part of the show you watched 20 minutes ago, and you're like, because it's just fucking dribble. It just is being fed into your eye and your ear, and it's nothing. But when you're seeking it and it's coming in intently and with purpose and going to the right places and building neural networks that weren't there before, then it's making some sense. But just trying to burrow its way through your gray matter with fists, I don't think would work. I think it has to build it slowly.
It has to learn its way, and it feels good to learning its way. I mean, there's some amazing highs from that.
Yeah, I was going to say it's fun. It is fun to start accumulating new information and having a world that's not, so done and dusted, having something, it's almost like bringing the adventure back into our world, and still stuff to find out. It's good. It's good having that. If I was going to write a song and I knew the song at the end, well, it takes all the fun out of trying to come up with the guitar riff, or maybe trying a different drum beat here and there, and it's enjoyable going through that process.
I think the last new species of whale was discovered in like 2019 in the Gulf of Mexico. So yeah, there's a lot out there still. And this whale was like the size of a bus, So there's so much out there. Yeah. A whale, a huge beast. But we had no idea that it even existed. So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff out there. They're discovering new spiders and butterflies and birds and all kinds of stuff all the time. It's a big place out there, folks, and we have barely scratched the surface. Well, at least what we're told has scratched the surface. Who knows what's really known?
The other thing we're doing as well, looking at what's going on in the world, we're starting to understand the concepts of this magical psychology, this magic that they're using on us, this way of controlling minds. So in a sense, that's really good to learn as well, because we can apply it in a good way to ourselves, or help ourselves with it as well, not just their negative way.
Now, Liz is mad about living her life with lies everywhere, and even waking up, I can't escape the lies. No, they are everywhere. But your journey is that you're seeing the lies now. I mean, how much better is it that you're seeing the lies than being blind and a sheep to the lies, that you're waking up and that you're having a journey on it. So it's definitely hard some days, but I wouldn't take the alternative about not seeing the lies everywhere. I would take the alternative about not having lies everywhere, but that's what we're trying to change.
What do you say we drop a link out there in case anybody wants to join up?
Yeah.
Do it.
Well, I've actually been trying to get your attention behind the scenes there, Josh.
Did I not respond?
You didn't. And if you did, I didn't see it. My bad. I got right back up the conversation.
I'm pretty
That's
sure I
actually
did.
what I was trying to avoid, the conversation being disrupted. It was going very well, flowing really well, and I hated to break that up. So I didn't want to make it a big, hey, over here. So, but yeah, there's a guy floating around. He was, anyway, that already was hinting around for a link. But I'm not sure if he has time now because it's been a minute. And I know he has limited free time these days, what with a newborn and all.
Well, if you want to copy and paste it and send it to him, I dropped it in our chat here.
You got it? Or you want me to do it?
If you're talking to him, you go ahead and do it.
Well, actually, now that I say that, I went back to check to see what he said after, and I don't even think he's looked at my message saying that I would try to get him in here. So he may have already bounced, although he shows active. Wow.
So I shouldn't feel bad for being so chatty.
No, it's not bad. It's all about the conversation being great, not wanting to fuck it up. That was me.
Well, there it is. I dropped it in the chat for anybody out there watching and or listening.
Oh, wow. What is that link? That gets them into the stream here?
Into the restream.
Zoom call?
Nope, into the restream. And it pulls them up as a side guest.
It's a whole different thing. Will they be able to just do it from like browser? Or I just don't know. I haven't dropped this link for anybody. Help me. How does this link work? So
it drops them into restream?
To the actual browser. Okay, hold a second.
I can have up to 10 people in the stream with us here. And this is outside of Zoom. So we can get like 150 people on Zoom, but then I can get 10 people on Restream. But it works well because like if you wanted to use it like a call board, you can see them line up, but you don't have to add them to the stream live until you're ready. How's that
Well, it looks like
Keep
he
him
has not
backstage.
seen my message there on Skype, so I will put it into the chat here.
All right.
And see if he's here. Hang on. Y'all can talk while I do things.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good idea.
You don't have to wait patiently for me. That's nice, but you don't have to.
So what are you doing now, Walt?
I'm logging off. I'm gonna go see where Rob and John are. I'm doing tricks. Y'all not supposed to see the behind the scenes magic, man.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
He's a magic man.
I am looking for a pencil. Pen will work.
So what are we doing? We waiting for someone to show up.
Anyone, somebody, anybody, yeah.
If they want.
That's cool.
If Jimmy's there listening.
I said I was going to drop it in the chat. You did it. Okay. Yeah. I'm worried about getting Jimmy in here, and I haven't even dropped it. Thank you, sir. So, yeah.
Jimmy James. Jimmy James, where are you?
It's in chat. Oh, YouTube. If you guys are wanting to get in here on this. But it's also in your personal Skype area there, James. If you can do it at this point. Like I said, I didn't see your message until we were already an hour plus into the show. Man, my bad. I was just excited to see you in chat. I never thought about getting you in here because, it's that kind of Friday. Oh, everything's off, energy-wise.
Uh-huh.
And I even got a chance today for the first time in, like, weeks, truly weeks, between frozen ground, wet ground, broken back, being sick. Today I went outside into a sunshiny, dry dirt area and grounded my ass out, thinking that would fix all this, and it just didn't. The energy's really crazy. It's better. The grounding definitely helped, and I needed it immensely, but it definitely didn't clear the earth and its craziness. We should all get out there and discharge it, I guess. What if that's the trick? What if we all figure this thing out and we can discharge this coming
everybody
shit?
discharged the earth at the same time.
And
Everybody was grounded all at once.
Wow.
I like it. I like it.
We need to start a National Grounding Day.
Right?
National
That's it. A fucking grounding day. What day will it be? April 1st? Oh, that'd be perfect.
Every Saturday.
Yeah, just do it weekly. There we go. Or hell, at the start of the show, we just start the show. Everybody's outside on the ground. We walk in with our camera and sit down at our desk. How about that? It'd be a new intro for the show.
I think we just need one of those big ass dance parties like they had in the Matrix 2. You know that one?
I got a cave
just everyone's
down the
just
road.
going, yeah, just everyone get together and just have a big old party. That's what we need. Parties.
We have a big one coming with Solar Return next month, so looking forward to that one. Liz in the chat has a note that because she's not going to call in. I wish you would call in, Liz, but I will read your comment. It's very possible that there are lands beyond Antarctica. Absolutely. I think even somebody like me who I believe that there is a dome or a magnetic field and I see the model is going up and down, even though I see from what I see in history, the model going up and down from the pieces I'm putting together, I have no way of knowing is there more of those little petals going around in a circle, or are there more grids there? We can't get outside of Antarctica, and until we can go one way or the other and gather more information, I don't think anybody can rule out the possibility of more lands past Antarctica in any different way, or different types of, a different phase energy outside of it. Again, we don't know. This is going to be one that I look for clues and look for pieces, and I haven't had a whole lot of pieces that have not taken me up and down, or that have taken me side to side instead of up and down as far as, shoal and hell firmament and things like that. They go up and down, but that doesn't mean there's nothing side to side.
You just broke my brain a bit too, because there was something I was looking at. Oh, I dropped it, the chat, the link about the piezoelectricity idea. Now, my thing has always been layers and layers. That's kind of, to me, what this thing is. It's not just out, it's up and down.
Right.
So
that
what
up
if
and down
that is part of it? I mean, there's so much crystal on this plane, part of this plane, inside our fucking heads, crystals everywhere. So what if the piezoelectric force of these layers stacked on each other and all the different, that's what I don't get. That's where I'm stuck. So what makes this oscillation occurring? You have to really look at this thing I've sent into the chat. It's like this new deal. It may not be new, but it's this idea of stacking these crystalline things in these windy areas so that they blow back and forth in the wind, creating this piezoelectric current just by wind power. Little wind power will do it. A lot of wind power does it a lot. Take that and look at like some of the ancient structures with the little weird tower things that look like stacked bells, or some of the pagodas that look like stacked little bells. So now if we're in this dome, and there's a dome, and there's a dome, and they're all piezoelectrically doing something to each other. And so that's where we get storms, and that's where we get the sprites in the upper atmosphere, and that's where we get these weird charges that we can't explain up above us. I don't know, just skyballing here.
It's interesting to say that with the piezoelectric. I did watch a video a fair while ago, and I'm gonna butcher it, but he was sort of explaining that there was the way some of these older buildings were built, that they were actually built to take some of the stress and do that sort of movement. So, sort of a built-in piezoelectric, I guess, or
that's kind of what this little thread. Somebody put this together on Twitter. I had the name up earlier. Now I've shut it again because I got too many tabs going. But they put this little thread together with that exact, probably from the same place you had it. They referenced that in one of the little tweets, and another tweet they show that those buildings, those pagodas, and how they sway in the wind. And they show this new or recent technology of these. You know, instead of having a windmill, you have these things blowing around and creating power. And it could be out there. They may be using them. I didn't get to that yet to see how actively these kind of things are actually in use. It just popped in yesterday, I think, and I saw it. But yeah, definitely lots of potentially.
Now you just
like, especially when you tie the mud flood idea into all this, you know, that the Tower of Babel, trying to get up there into that field of whatever the fuck is up there and then fucking it up, you know, by messing with it. I don't know. Just again, a lot of skyballing. Where you at, James? Save me, man. I'm floundering here.
He's on mute, but I want to jump in a second on that one. Can I, Walt? What clicked in on me on when you guys were saying the piezoelectricity on this is, I don't know how many people have followed like what I've done with the magnetics or what Zach and I have done, but when you do create the quadruple in the center by making the two pillars, the outline that you get is hexagonal. You have like a hexagonal shaped outline on it that creates itself magnetically. It looks like a perfect border. It's remarkable, like a crystal border. Now, if you go up and down and you build it, I came up with that it looked just like the Zach, why can't I think of the word for the tree, the green tree with the green balls? The flower light is the Sephiroth, yeah. It looks like the Sephiroth in 3D.
Wow, I didn't think about
and
that.
Adding, okay, so it does. It looks just like the Sephiroth in 3D with two pillars on the side, which when you add the two pillars on the side, your outer dimensions, when you take it that direction, you're going to also come up with a hexagon. Now, if you go back to your piezoelectrics, remember, it was really, really important that we had this hexagonal lattice structure because it's the only one I know that the piezoelectricity will work with. There could be some other complex ones, but I do know it will work in the hex. And the reason of it is, oops, I'm drawing on cardboard here and you guys can't see it and I don't even have the cameras on. But again, the reasons are is if you think and you draw a hexagon in your mind and you put pluses and minuses alternating around it. So you have a plus and a minus on each tip, right? So can everybody picture that?
Yep.
When you hit it in a certain direction, you'll see that you'll make a line of plus negative plus on one side and minus negative minus on the other, or minus plus negative on the other. In other words, you're going to create two lines instead of them being equally spaced. If you squish it a little bit, you're going to create those two lines of those. Now, when you do that, your two positives are going to overtake the negative and create a giant positive. On the other side, your two negatives are going to overcome and create an overall negative force. But it's that shape collapsing that makes it able to do that. Not every lattice structure is able to collapse into this. And I know that I've said this before on the shows, and it's one of those that I'm going to keep on repeating because I think it's important that people visually see how it works. And now with what you guys are throwing at me, I didn't think of it at all in the system, but we have two hexagonal shaped outlines that also have like the points and the tips and the alignments that would work if you put charges in macro. Definitely could have some type of piezo to it. The other thing is if you make it again, if you take it on the outline, remember it's going to look like an elongated hexagon. Is when you have the two poles on the outside, the quadrupole in the middle, and that you think of your hexagon, but stretch it out some because it's definitely stretched a little bit. It layers up. It does it in every direction. You come up with this growth pattern. I mean, I see it. I'm sitting here. You guys are talking about it, but it grows out of it just naturally again on the points and doing that.
It's interesting with the hexagonal as well because sort of you can look at that as a cube So, you know, when you start to look at the hexagonal
No, you
and
can't
the
look at it.
cube, and then sort of correlate it to older mythologies and things, then you start to get to this idea of Saturn, which was, you know, representing Earth, and so there's lots of correlations there as well.
They're going to, yeah, the shapes are going to peak in everywhere, I think, too, with the number of sides. I've found that up to and phasing up through the layers, too. That's a whole other show, and then some. But again, just like learning that little piece there, I never thought of connecting the piezoelectric with the overall model in macro, but just saying that and doing the hexagons does it. The cubic, now the cubic, if you think about it, if you think of your cube and your square, you're going to have plus minus on your corners. And no matter how you squeeze this in any direction, you're not going to be able to create a potential because you can't squash it. That looks so good. Zach is showing me.
Okay.
Zach's showing me a drawer that he's working on in my kitchen, and he totally lost me. But I need you to also, with the cubic and the different shapes, and then the way that they work, the way that they grow, the way that you, again, can cut, the way that they've been light, and that each one is going to handle it differently. And your cubic is going to be very, very different, that you cannot do piezo with anything cubic. So that's going to tell you diamond is not, it's going to tell you a whole lot of things are not, but quartz is and certain things are. So again, it's a way of differentiating, but it's fascinating to look.
So the hexagram, what would it be as a 3-dimensional sort of figure then?
Okay, it comes out with the sapphire, and it comes up with then it comes up to be a, if you thought of a crystal tower. So think of an elongated hex and make a tablet out of it and make it like a pillar, right? You can go and buy a gem that way. It's got a flat bottom, a flat top, or you can do different things. You can peek off the bottom or the top. But on that layer, it's like that. Now, if you think about that hexagon, if you took our grid or our hexagon and put it tip in, you could also put other ones around it and create the full flower of life with other worlds.
Yeah.
So this is her saying, could there be lands outside of Antarctica? And some people will say, well, that doesn't work with your model. And I can see it working with my model, but I don't have any way of, I see possibilities of it working in different really fascinating ones, but I haven't come up with, other than pictures in my mind, I have not come up with the historical data or that to link the piece. So I have more than one little peg on my puzzle piece, you know, to put it into place. But again, you have to hold all these properties in your mind, Lucas, as you know, and apply them as you're putting in the pieces and see what you can bring from it to see, does it hit in different directions? We're probably boring people, but this is, the making of like filtering reality.
Personally, I'm sort of not a big fan of the extra lands and things like that. So it's just my take. I don't really sort of subscribe to, you know, these, you know, whole other worlds and things like that. But that's just my take. I sort of see our world as more of a, you know, we're inside a sphere. So instead of being on the outside of it, we're inside of it. So that's how I
agree with you, and on the concept.
Not just being silly.
Yeah. Well, we can reach out and touch. That's what it tells us, but it would fit together as a flower. You couldn't rule it out. I do rule out, and I know people, and I love the somatics, and I love the way it was put together. I especially love the music and everything. The Martin Kinney model, on the egg model that everybody loves. Mm-hmm. I love it. I think it's romantic. I think they did a great job putting it together, but I can't make it cross my reality filters with little things like the way that they make that you see the planets, and you know, they separate and go out into the different rings and the different lands. The problem, the problem I have with that,
beyond the after World Beyond the Poles.
No. The Martin Kinney on the egg model.
Yeah, no, I'm saying the book, reading the book, World Beyond the Poles, made that whole thing of why would the planets look that way if they're doing this up and down thing? Why would they look the distance? And if you read the whole land beyond the poles thing, that idea of just kind of what we tell people about looking across the flat plane. I mean, visually, things that far away are not going to look like they're on the fucking ground anymore. You know, they're going to look like they're in the sky. They are the sky.
I get what you're saying on that, but I also get that the way that they use, like on the model and the things that was built around and using like our different planets as the sun and moon and different lands on it, that they're using the heliocentric model showing that the planets are going out and around. In other words, the heliocentric is dealing with the planets by taking the number of times that they make epicircles and making the more epicircles and the longer it takes to go around, they're making it further away. So when you draw it out, it draws out. Well, they took that on the egg and drew those out. But in reality, our planets go right over between, they stay in the ellipse. They stay between the tropics, and they're stacked on top of each other. And we really don't, other than historical, the way that they have them listed historically by looking at it as lights in the sky, we won't really know which one is closer or further away. They're just lights, but there is a lot of, it's in a lot of the old ancient texts, the way that they...
Yeah. Well, I never subscribed to that.
Considered the idea of the fucking shit being backwards.
But yeah,
inverted, but the fact that Pluto might be right next door and fucking Venus and Mercury and shit might be far the fuck away from us.
We have
we're told all that's
keys.
Closer to us, even in our shit, you know, holy shit.
Especially in Vedic cosmology, we have a lot of clues, and especially they even mention in Vedic cosmology, I give them kudos for mentioning when the sun is below the moon. Because they do under the banes, and then people reading that try to, when they say under the banes of the sun, and that they try to interpret it saying, well, we know that they don't mean it underneath it, so it must mean people take the direct words. And even Wakey Wakey did that. He took the direct words and tried to extrapolate it just because you expect the sun to be higher. But I mean, I believe the sun and the moon dance. There are times in the month it's higher and times in the month it's lower.
Absolutely.
But again, these are lights in the sky. But do you understand with what I'm saying? Like with the model, the way that they portray them going outward, that's really not what's happening.
Oh no, yeah, I never bought into that at all.
Right.
Yeah, what I'm, to clarify, what I'm thinking of was not the Martin Kenny. I do like the world egg. Obviously,
I do. It's cool. I just can't reconcile it with reality, but it's very cool.
Well, this is. I go back to the old mythologies of how they, try to explain things. And when you're talking about an egg, you're talking about a cell. An egg is basically a large form of a cell. So, in that sense, we're within the cell. So. And everything is enclosed within that, and that gives you your dome. It gives you this, it gives you an edge as well. And then you've also got the idea of this, this idea of perfection because of the nature of pi or the nature of a circle. So to be housed within this, a perfect circle, not just a band. You see what I'm coming from in that sort of sense?
I do.
Yeah, I do. I see both of them. I see all the ramifications, all these different arguments. I see them all.
And that's why, again, with
like the other.
Yeah, with the lands outside of Antarctica.
I still have to explain these other beings that are with us. I know y'all don't, because that's not something y'all have interacted with as much in your life as I have. But there are other fucking things on this plane with us. They are not human, and they came from some fucking where. And if they're not from these little lights, then they're from somewhere out there. That's the only, or from down there, maybe, or maybe they are from up there, but they're definitely here with us. And that's why I keep looking for it. Some little thing that works that out for me. Because they're not either that or they're fucking demons. Is this
physical or
this has
demons?
Been my whole life. Yeah.
Are you talking demons? Are you talking demons
aliens,
or physical?
ETs, entities that have abducted my family, who have taken my sister's children, I'm talking.
So they have physical, okay. No, and I don't think that's
crazy.
These are
not imaginations. Talk to Jerry, he'll tell you. Mm-hmm. These things have been in my life, and I figure they have to come from somewhere. So
here's what I think. They could come from somewhere, and again, I can't rule out the lands outside, but I think by other reasons, and again, I can hit, we've talked about blood and different things.
right?
Receptor things that we've talked about, right? I personally think that you're targeted by the government and they're testing you, doing things on you, and then giving you that, they're doing that play for you, seeing it as aliens or gray bodies or that shit to create that.
There's too much.
I could be wrong.
Astral work in this. There's too much.
Okay, that could be too. And
intent, power, and stuff I've worked on with this. Yeah, no, these are.
I believe in that to the astral. So okay, yeah.
Now,
so
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There are lots of people in lots of programs. I've met those people.
Mm-hmm.
I've met those people, and these aren't grays. These aren't classic. You know, anybody comes with you with a classic story, that's government to me. That's like Whitley and those classic stories of the grays and the ones we get fed. That's to me is the government programs. Yeah. Now the dark beings that come through the walls, like I said, take my sister's children, shit like that. Those things are not brought here by fucking government.
In that case, again, if I were you, I would probably have reason to believe about, again, lands outside of Antarctica, or again, hell holding a physical, again, you take the pieces and you incorporate it. And these are things that we all learn and we all go forward on. But again, none of us we can't state that we know.
Absolutely.
Nor should
I'm
we.
not going out there anytime soon.
No.
Right.
No, we're not going to.
So that's the main key. But we should.
But we can have a fucking lot of good times talking about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing on it is I think we should talk about it. I think it's important to talk about, and I think it's good to share the ideas. And that it's only when you present it like we were talking at the beginning in the Lord Stephen Christ way that I'm giving this to you as your Lord and Savior, Stephen Christ, or Ball, Brian Austin Lambert, or again, when it's put into a context where the person giving it has godlike delusions, is the only word I can think of it, but it loses something on it. Loses a little bit of
yeah, it doesn't quite have the same edge, does it?
No.
Well, talking about Antarctica and other lands, there's one of the video games for the Epic thing, Walt. You're this ship, right? And you start off in.
I just saw it. I got it.
Okay, so London, part of it, you're like in an underworld, the world that sank. Okay, and there's like light above. But as you go south, you run into the Iron Republic. And they say
shit.
They were sick of all the evil rules and laws. So they went down here and started their own.
Are you kidding, dude? I'm going to complain
No
as
joke.
soon as this
And
show is
there's
over.
this one thing that says something about something's point or something's cape. And it's right on the edge of the Iron Republic. I want to see if this is on any map, if this is a real place. What if that's a clue on how to get to the Iron Republic? You go that way, towards that cape.
Do you think that's that's Atlantis or Atlas, where I have the pole that's off of the map, the things off the grid lines? Because keep in mind too, Walt, that on my map,
it goes off. I remember.
There's a section of it that there's not grid lines on. A huge section that
and to me that just kind of fed more into the outside lands when you brought it to us.
So to me so that's outside lands. To me, I guess it would be outside of Antarctica the way that we think of Antarctica. But me, I think of Antarctica differently. So yeah.
Don't forget that map in Houston that I actually walked on. I mean, I'm not saying it's real. I'm not saying it's right, but it definitely had lands outside the Antarctic area. Mm-hmm. The big flat Earth map in the Houston airport, if you guys never saw it, it may be on the video here on our channel. It may be on my channel, but yeah, you can see me walking around it showing all the different places that and then what's this and what's that. And they literally have 3 or 4 separating lines, and then there's that land. So
I want to see where that is, because again, where my land is on the map where I'm drawing it,
I've got pictures, but I have to dig them up.
Let's see if it clicks, because I'm not willy-nilly on where the land has to be. I have a huge magnetic hotspot that has to be anchored by land, and so I need a giant piece of land, and I need it in a specific. I don't know the exact where the lines come together, but you can tell they're going to. So it's not like I'm looking. It could be anywhere. It has to be. I see the red and the blue lines. You have to extrapolate about where they're going to come together in reality by the magnetic pattern. But yeah, I do know that there's at least one huge chunk of land that's missing off of the map that would have to be there to carry our magnetic pattern.
I'm looking for it. Give me
What about Walt? Yeah, extraterrestrials come from underground. Do you remember those old books?
Oh yeah,
that had the dark elves underneath the ground. It was the Dark Elf trilogy or something.
Something, yeah. And then there's the old story about the D-Rose
Drizzt.
from way back that are underground. And yeah, that's been a recurring thing. I mean, even recently, that's a recurring thing. In
Beowulf, the oldest epic poem, talks about the going into the creature's den underground and slaying the witch and yada yada yada.
We definitely have an underworld built into our magnetics in that too. I mean, I call it Shell on some, but there's definitely an underworld. I'm playing it with my map. I'm selfish. Selfish.
Yeah, I'm loading them up right now to find out what the name of this land thing is. I want to get it for everybody so people can go see if they can find it on an old map or a new map or, Let's see. Yeah, it's going to take me a couple minutes to get there. It's a weird game.
What I think I'm going to do is it would take me literally hours to dig through these files of mine and try to find those pictures, Cammy. But I know the video has them, and what I'm going to do is show my video on our channel. I will not give us a copyright strike. I promise.
Okay, or if you just want to wait until you come by it. Yeah,
I don't know if we can trust him.
Yeah.
It's my fucking video. I filmed it. I put it together. I produced it. It's on my channel. If they strike us for that, dude, I'm off of YouTube for fucking ever. I'm over it.
Well, I'd love to see it and see if it does match up. Because
yeah,
again, I like
digging
to.
It up. Oh, here, I'm trying to get to the part right now. Okay, is that it? Okay. Yeah, see, it's got a filter on it. It's going to be hard to see. Let me see if it helps real quick.
Looking for it to be between South America and Africa, south of.
Do planes fly over that region that you're talking about, or no one goes there?
No, no one goes there. They call it the anomaly, South American anomaly.
What?
It's called the anomaly.
They really call it that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it's a giant magnetic anomaly. Nothing goes. Nothing
like
goes.
Bermuda Triangle, is that?
Yeah.
Is that the same type?
South Atlantic anomaly taking through on there. And I have a lot of matchups, Lucas, as far as on the historicals on Atlas Island, giving the exact on the western edge of it where Atlas held up the edge of the sky because the sky got damaged in the War of the Titans. But he was not, Atlas or Atlantis Island he never held up the globe. He only held up the skies, the heavens. And I don't think it drives me crazy that they always show Atlas holding the world.
Okay, just to
the Atlas bone in the neck as well holds up your.
It holds up your head. Yeah, he was. Yeah, Atlas was again. He was. He lost the War of the Titans. His penance was because the edge of the dome got broken, where you can kind of see in the Flammarion picture. But his
Let me share, Josh.
Yeah, he had two holes up the edge of the sky.
Oh shit! Yeah, sure. Hold on, and we do have somebody up on Restream too. We have a.
We'll do that. We can do my video in a minute. We'll get to that because I know he is very limited time.
Yeah,
it's not even Jimmy. It's somebody that was watching over on D Live. We have.
Oh well, what's up? Talk to them too because I can get to the video in a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah. We got Any Word with us. What's up, Any Word? Happy Friday.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm not hearing you.
I'm not hearing him.
He has to hit the mute button to the bottom left of his screen. Hit the microphone.
Can you hear me now?
For your first time, you have to take it off.
Can you hear me now?
Don't think he's muted.
I don't see him in the.
No, he's not on Zoom.
No, he's in that Restream thing.
Well, then I probably shouldn't tell him what
so
button.
We can't. I don't have a clue what his buttons are.
Button to push.
Are you guys working on the audio and I'll go ahead and throw the video up or what?
You know,
Yeah.
And it might have been me. I might have had the volume down here on the
Oh,
mixer.
go.
Go ahead anywhere. Let's try this again. Maybe I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
There we go. Yeah, we can hear you. Sorry about that. Pretty sure that was all me.
So this map is 1952 United States Air Force. Physical and political map of the world. Got it on eBay like 5 years ago.
Huh. I think Kemi would really dig that one. That's really interesting.
Can you drop a link? I know I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
He's got it on the wall hanging behind him.
I don't see him, though.
Him on the call.
Yeah, you'd have to probably hop over to YouTube to see it.
Let me see. Yeah, I'll go jump on YouTube.
Okay, hang on.
There we go. I can make it bigger here for the people on YouTube. That is really interesting.
Yeah, I've got it on eBay for like $250 like 5 years ago.
Oh, ouch.
Hold on, I need to get glasses. Zoom in on that. Let me see glasses.
Is Antarctica on
Wow, what the flip?
Is that actually the white triangles there on the edges, I guess? That's supposed to be Antarctica?
It doesn't go that far.
Is that the
Doesn't even go that far, huh?
Yeah,
no, because it would probably be the
four corners. That's where the four corners are, where they have the petals going. By the way, this is a good map.
Isn't that good? I thought you'd like that.
This map is in time.
What's the name of it again?
1952 U.S. Air Force physical and political global chart of the world.
I want to see that and take it out of there, but looking at it and eyeballing it, because I do a lot of mapping. One of your easiest ways to look at a map, it's got a little, I don't know, it's not bad there. One of the easiest ways to think about how good a map might be or not be is to actually look at Dave Weiss's Sun and Moon app, or look at a clock, any of the expensive watches that have the face of, the flat earth on the front of it. There's a few really expensive models, but time will match up to reality. And so you can't really, when people are trying to move continents around and move everything just completely crazy, you can't just randomly move pieces and turn them. You have to keep them in time also. That's like when I was working on it, that why you were peeling from the bottom, from Antarctica. So when you peeled up, you kept things in the time zone. This one looks like very good time zones. When you look at a map, and especially Africa and South America are way halfway across the map, like on their trident, and there's a huge ocean. Keep in mind, there's only a couple of hours of time, and that planes, everybody makes that jump over. That's the one thing on the map, is I wish that little gap looked a little bit smaller, but it could be even the way I'm looking at it and the rest of perspective, but that's not a bad layout. Your corners also pop out where the four corners would be, where your indents are kind of top and bottom are more the pole areas. Australia should be tipped more towards where that left-hand indent is to the left of it. But that's fab. That's pretty much in time, and that's mark of something worth looking a lot closer at.
It still has a lot of problems with the international dateline.
Right. The international dateline is trickery, is globe trickery, and we could do an episode on how they got people, kind of like I did with the inches on the globe and the coastline thing. What they do. What they do with the international dateline is can be kind of a mindfuck to the way that they do it. It shouldn't. There's a way to do it much. If it was real, if it was really the way it was, I could show you how it would be done and what the difference would be. But that's all about time and how things do line up, and then you can really get the mapping close, because again, the map lives in time. Reality lives in reality. So when working on mapping in that, think of every piece of reality that you have to work with.
Have you looked at, I haven't heard anybody talk about FEmely's map, his model.
Yeah. FPV Angel? Yeah, he's got a really good one. They do a whole lot of work over there, for sure. Yeah, that's somebody we really need to get on. He'll hop in the chat on occasion. We see him from time to time. I've been known to hop into his chats from time to time, but I don't think we've ever really had him on for any real length of time, if at all. We would definitely need to get him over here to take a look at that model that he's got going on over there.
I wrote it off. I wrote it off the first time I watched all, long streams, and I wrote it off because there were so many problems with it. But then I came back to it, and I'm like, well, there's only one problem in my mind, is a flight from Japan to Hawaii. In his model, it would require flying north of Greenland and then crossing land to Russia. I don't know anybody that's ever taken that flight personally. So I couldn't say if that would be a way to confirm or deny that model.
I looked at his model briefly, and what I found is it breached reality. It's neat. It's got a lot of work, and it is what I hear. And I know they do a lot of work on it, and I know that they are super duper nice people. I will tell you, people often want to know what I think of the map and what I think about them. I think everybody I've met over there has been great. The work, again, the quality of what they put together, 3D and things like that, I hear is fabulous. I've seen very little, because when I looked at the model and I saw that it required a portal, or like you said, going around, and then I had a lot of other issues. Like I look at where they lay cables, where they have the main truck shipping routes, you have all of these historical data going back hundreds of years that's consistent, and you have a few little places I would call linchpins that you have a lot of travel around, and we stay in these little channels of travel and doing this. We run cables, we run a whole bunch of flights over where you have so much information in a few little key areas that they can't fake it. They cannot fake where you jump across from South America and Africa where the points are, because too much happens between there. It has to be real. Right, I could not reconcile the FPP angel map unless you portaled from one place to another. I could not reconcile it with reality, and I could not make the like conduits and my linchpins match up close enough. So I didn't look into it. I thought about watching just to see if they had any other tips in that, and this I could be misinterpreting, and if I am, like I'll apologize and take it, and again, and change it and actually look into it more. But because I know that I can't reconcile the map, I do know that, like, one of my friends, Steve Falconer, who does Space Busters, he watched their videos, liked it, and then he took their video and he does what he does with my work that I like give him, and that he does his own take on it. So he looks at the information and he comes up with his own take on it. They got really, really upset with him because they said that he misused their material or stole it and then misused it or whatever, and they were upset about it. So and this is my understanding of the situation, we've been watching the chats and that going, I didn't want to watch or get any other tips from them, because I'll be applying them onto a map that works in time with going around in a circle. I don't want to watch and get pieces and steal them if I'm not applying them the same way, because I respect that they're putting a lot of work on it, and I don't want to, because I do map working, I don't want to watch it and accidentally integrate my step into it. So it's like out of respect for them that I don't want to steal the work at all. I want to respect, and I want them to continue on, because again, I can't reconcile it with reality, but that's me. It doesn't mean I'm right. I'm just saying, in my mind, I can't make it happen, and I can find easy ways.
It's really difficult to reconcile. There's someone in chat asking me about who published that. The United States Air Force published it.
It has one of the more most integrity on, like, a just first glance looking at it, on fitting in with, like, again, key areas and linchpins. And the FPP Angel, again, they do beautiful work, and I know that they do a ton of it, and I encourage everybody to watch it except for me, because I respect them and I don't want to, if they protect their ideas, I want them to be able to do that. I don't protect my ideas. Anything I have, anybody can take, change, grow it, shrink it, So it's a different way of working. So I try, and they're not the only people I avoid because of that. It's just I call it a respect, not a dislike, but a respect that I don't want to accidentally. How can you watch a bunch of stuff and not have something to be bent?
Those guys had the model where like it was like the snake game where you go in one side and come out the other.
Yes. That's why I can't reconcile it, and that's why I won't look at more of their work. Is I can't make that reconcile in my mind.
Yeah, I couldn't either.
With reality, it's not.
And the other one was like the planets or sun and things being projected from the Earth as like, don't they? It's like an angel machine or something they call it. I don't know. I haven't really looked at their stuff honestly. I just sort of once I sort of figured out the snake game sort of version, I was a bit lost, honestly.
That's what I did too. Is it's like I can't reconcile that. I've never seen the angel light part of it, and again, these are the pieces that I try not to look at because I don't know. I am doing Chris Pontius's too. I'm doing different things that could be projected either from Polaris or from the center or from. I mean, I'm testing all kinds of possibilities. I have no clue right now on it, so I don't have an answer. But I also don't want to come up with, test a whole bunch of things, show it comes out from the middle, and then have them like complain that like I stole it and are using it wrong. I want to know exactly where my work came from. I want to know, and I think everybody should be like that.
Mad animation skills like they do.
Oh my God, I would do anything to have that. I would do anything to have that. To have those skills and talents and that, yes.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard of Gordon R. Dixon?
No.
He wrote a book that little bluff that I was talking about in that game, right above the Iron Republic, was called Kugel's Bluff. CUGEL''S. And I cannot find anything that has to do with Kugel except for a character in a book that went beyond Antarctica. It's called The Secret Under Antarctica. It seems, I don't know. So I think I might have to look into this book.
That's interesting too. I think again that there is a secret place that they show in the Flammarion that has the crack on the dome, and that again maybe your stars go to your island, and that was called Atlantis in history and Atlas Island. I think it's where the magnetics come together off of the map. So I think it's very, very real. While your people from other regions could again be possibly Outlander there, and again I don't know what the crossing in or out of it shows. People going in and out of the dome there, which was an interesting concept on the Flammarion. So. And the Flammarion engraving, I think, has too much good information in it to take anything lightly about it.
Kimmy, I took a screenshot of you had an initially like years ago, you had a thumbprint map almost. I think it had like ley lines or something or other. And I never saw anything further with it. Did you take it further?
Yeah, I took it a lot further. That what you saw on that is probably what's going to be closer to the star map. I think I'm going to walk out to a computer outside and see if I can share screen a little bit.
Yeah, please.
And I don't have any art skills, and I have no computer skills. I have none of that. I just have research skills. So I don't have anything in anything pretty. Does that work for you?
Sure.
Let's see if I can.
The sun path in the FPV angel model really, it just nags at my brain constantly.
The way,
like I wrote it off like at first, and then I just kept thinking about it and thinking about it. And it's kind of like a Pac-Man map, but not quite. They don't say it is, so it's
I may misunderstand it, and if I do,
I have a screenshot of that as well.
I apologize if I'm doing it, if I'm explaining it wrong and I misunderstand it. Again, it's a channel that I stay away from. That to me is for all the right reasons, not because you should stay away from it, but only out of respect to them and how much work they put into it.
Fair enough. But I just say we should just let it all be put out there, open source, and just let it be known. Like if there's no flight from Hawaii to Japan that goes over land, then it's bunk, in my opinion. So
So yeah, I don't know if they come on the show. I can ask them some of these questions, and I'll happily with this group of people, because it couldn't be a nicer group of people than the people over there. I will happily either stay away from their channel and go in the other room when my husband is watching it, which I do. And again, it's only out of the greatest respect, not out of anything that. But if they'd like me to have any opinion on any of the ideas, I wouldn't mind giving it. I just, if I use it and apply it differently, I would want to make sure that they wouldn't be offended by it, or that it would be, again,
respectful,
a breach.
respectful, in a respectful way. I'm not to say, your channel should end immediately, not saying that.
Oh no. I want, again, people need to be coming out with, and again, I think everybody will have at least, with this new into the project, everybody's found to have at least one or two pieces in the thing, right? Too. I mostly just try to put together, again, little pieces I find historically, and that, so it's not like I make the pieces. I match up the patterns.
Great.
I was not able to log on and get the computer to share to do this. I can.
Doesn't have to happen today.
I can give you a video that has a recap on it that I did towards the end of the video. So if you went to the very end of the video are you familiar with Unintended Consequences channel?
I think I've heard of it.
Baldini? It's Baldini channel.
Oh, Baldini? Yeah, right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so his channel is Unintended Consequences.
Right.
And I touched base at a video I did with him called Even the Rocks Cry Out. Definitely you'll have a touch base on the map. Now, the one thumbnail that you were looking at that I was trying to draw the continents onto the solid, getting the lines on that you're looking at, the trifold map, which I could drop to somebody in Skype. I could drop these in Skype if somebody else wanted to put them up. That map is back on the table in hugeness because I really think it's our sky map. The thing is we see the sky as one continuous, we see the sky as one completely continuous piece above us, so there's no breaks in it, where when you take the continents and take our WGS 84 map and the way they wrapped it on the globe, there's big gaps in the land where there's pieces that are outside of the lines, the grid lines. So that map I had is very much back on the table, but it's what it really was. It was a star map, and it explains how the stars lay over. And I'm going to step on my phone. I'm going to drop a couple of things into the Iron Realm chat. A couple of pictures if people just wanted to peek at them, but you can also go into more on that Unintended Consequences video.
Yeah, I'll just check that out. I'm technically retarded, kind of, so I don't have all these things. Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I would. And that's, again, it's a different way of looking at the map too. Is I do everything in analog and touching and cutting out, and not on computer, just to keep a different purity to it. And the Iron Realm guys understand what I'm doing with that, but people think it's weird.
An easy thing that could be fixed with this map here, I think, there might be a missing section where the international day line is to the west, like an extra pie piece, in my opinion, I think.
Yeah, there's manipulation on this.
That's one solution.
Very weird, yeah. There are weird areas on the map. There are weird areas that are out of time on the map, and that's how you look for the discrepancies in the map is you look at where they are out of time. Time measured that if you uniformed it and didn't draw scraggly time zones in that, but unified it, your time noon would be where the sun is overhead. So putting it, basics there. So the middle of a time zone should have the noon overhead or the sun overhead right at noon. You measure time with the sun and the moon. It's always been measured that way.
I
So
think
that's
of the
real 51 exists.
I think of the AE map as like the Trivial Pursuit piece. Like there's different, sections of pie pieces that might be missing in it.
They did a good job with the AE map for trying to just get it onto the flat. They did, in other words, they had to cover all of the longitude, latitude lines in a wheel when that was a deception. It's leaving the open spaces on it that you can get reality on and keep the measurements and everything intact. So reality can be had, but not the way that they fork it out to you. Again, they're very clever. They're very clever. You just
In the FPV model,
glad to. Pardon?
In the FPV model, the center of the Earth is an island east of South America and west of Africa. It's called Ascension Island. It's a bizarre island where the astronauts went to. It's like almost like a volcanic island. Well, it is an island. They say it's a volcanic island, kind of one of those melted building islands, where it has the longest runway in the world. British Air Force has the longest runway in the world on this island. It's a strange, strange island.
Okay, remarkable. Now, what you just put a piece with that island, as far as a click with me, is the island that I'm talking about that's hidden off of the line, off of the grid lines. You would get to it from. In other words, it's between Africa and South America, a little bit closer to South. In other words, I put it's where the magnetics are. I didn't dictate this spot. It's where the magnetics, come together on it.
So there's a magnetic node.
Yeah,
there's a magnetic node there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there's a magnetic node, a huge one off of the map that you see on the magnetic maps, where you see the red and the blue not come together. They have to come together. You have on one side they come together at a pole, on the other side they wander. You can't magnetically, you cannot, it doesn't happen that way. They have to, the red and the blue have to combine. So where they combine has to have a piece of land to hold it. Now where that land would be between South America and Africa. But your Ascension Island, if you were going to try to take a flight and get to that island, and like I said, nothing goes, nothing legitimate goes as far as boats. You asked me, Lucas, what goes in that section of island? That's the South Atlantic anomaly. Nothing goes. But if you were going to have a long runway to take a long distance flight, I would think Ascension Island would be a beautiful drop-off spot on the grid to get off of the grid. So
Yeah,
I would
that's
see that
interesting.
the longest runway to me would click with that you'd need a long haul flight to get there, and again, it's off of our grid lines.
I kind of thinking about this island like maybe it used to be the center of the world, of the realm, and maybe it's not anymore. Maybe it
doesn't work with magnetics at all, or with a lot of the other. Our magnetics show a quadrupole in the center of our map and two dipoles out on the side, and so you're putting the center in a place where I have magnetically a corner, one of the four corners, because Ascension Island should be like right out one of the four corners.
I have a coffee cup from Ascension Island. It was my grandpa. I have no idea where it came from other than frickin' Ascension Island. But yeah.
Let's see it.
Oh, that's a clue to look into.
I don't know if I can get it any closer.
Sign.
And there's 3 white doves on it. Sorry, the light's all jank.
3 white doves. Again, your 3 poles. Nice. You're giving me pieces right now without even knowing it.
It's got a cool name too, Ascension Island. Hey, that's trippy.
I like their pronunciation even better. Ascension Island.
They have a town there on the west side of the island called Georgetown. I think it is one of the main town or the whatever. There's not even a town there really, but I think it's like the capital, which is bizarre. Georgetown. That says a lot too.
Well, Georgetowns are usually named for King Georges, and that's almost always historically named after a King George. It's just showing it's part of the British royalty.
Georgetown University and those things.
Yeah, George and Mary. Yeah, look at our city.
Isn't Georgetown University also a what are they called? The Jesuit.
Yeah, Jesuit, yes.
College?
Indeed, they are. I believe that is correct.
Yeah.
So.
The Jesuits.
Jesuits. You got to eero it. Jesuits.
Yeah, as Eero would say, right?
Object. Oh, that's object. Yeah, I love eero so much.
Yeah, that's the one thing that all this nonsense going on now is really, really put a damper on is all our international, people that used to come to the meetups and the big meetups and stuff like that. It was awesome seeing Iru and hanging out with him. Iru actually got me back into Flat Earth in Denver. I was on my walkabout. I was, loving it. And I thought I kind of did, my part, what I wanted to do. And Iru sat me down like, dude, you got to start making videos again. You need to do whatever you need to do, but you need to get back in the saddle. And there's still a lot left. And I was like, all right. He's like, we need you. And that meant a lot coming from him, And a great researcher like Iru telling me that I was still needed. I was like, oh, okay.
Iru is very wise. He's so smart. So many pieces in that. I wish people, I wish I understood Spanish to listen to him present in Spanish. I sit and I watch the pictures and that and listen to him, not understanding, and I still learn on things by just how much he presents with his screen shares because he likes to screen share. So.
No, not Iru.
He does too.
It's just he's got a limit now to how many he can do on Glowbusters every Sunday. I will just do one this time real quick, if you don't mind. Yeah, I love that guy.
Do we have anybody on Iron Realm? I've pushed it up, talked this whole thing, but for him, because he's on the map, do you have anybody that's able to pull up some pictures I'm sending in the Iron Realm only chat? And I'm going to have to go and look at the computer so I can see myself because I'm just on the headset and on the phone. One more file I have to find.
I might be able to.
Okay. Now, while you're doing, I have one more coming too.
Folders right now. I can't help you, Cam. I've got about 5 folders open looking for these damn photos because the video I had put up, I'm going to share. It just doesn't show what we're looking for. I
am so close to having them. I'm so close to being outside and on my outside computer where I can see 2 screens and do it. But right now I'm in the garage on a mobile and I don't even see the thing.
You see that?
But springtime is coming. I hibernate in the winter. I'm just not meant for it. Spring will come. It will change. Oh, you need one more file. Oh, 2 more.
Do you see my screen?
I can see your screen. I don't know that the other people can see your screen.
No.
That's Cammy's. I took a screenshot of Cammy's thumbprint map.
No, I just see your camera. I don't see your computer screen.
I'm gonna go. I want you to let me forward me that. Forward. Iron Realm. Done. Okay.
Well, as soon as you got
Let's see. And I sent him what I think it might be the thumbnail print of it thing, and see if it's the same map that I sent you, the one with all the grid lines. And I'm going to go look at the. I have to get up and look at the computer. Let me switch rooms.
All right, let's see if I can do this here.
Yes, Alan, I've always wanted a monkey.
This is for bad people that set their offices up outdoors because they like to be outdoors but don't like the cold. So I find no reason to go out there in the cold. I just can't share or do anything. It'll get warm.
What sort of monkey, Zach? Like the one off Aladdin where he thieves things and wears a little hat?
Yeah, Pooh.
Yeah.
And you talk to him, and he understands and tips his hat. And
Yeah.
well, the one on Indiana Jones, Aladdin, whatever.
Yeah.
Just a
That
little
was good
monkey.
too.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool. Until they get mad and bite your nose off or something like that, then you get a little upset.
Or steal your wallet and take it to their real
Yeah,
master.
yeah. I think they're called capuchin monkeys. I think.
Sounds as good as anything.
Okay.
Hey, that's coming from movie references. I have done no real research on monkeys. I think I got that from Night at the Museum.
The land of chimpanzees, I was a monkey.
Just no one look at the bottom pictures.
You gotta look real close to see Tom Cruise.
What are we laughing at?
And it shouldn't be visible anyway. I should have had it.
Oh, okay.
All right, best Tom Cruise character that you didn't know was Tom Cruise. Can you think of one? Just seeing Tom Cruise, I went a whole movie.
Are you
Watched the
serious?
whole
I
movie.
knew that was Cruise as soon as I saw it. I know you're talking about Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, I'm talking
I knew
about
it was
Tropic
him
Thunder.
because
I had no clue.
I was ahead of the game, and I was excited for that movie to come out, and I knew it was going to be him playing it. If I had seen it without knowing it was him playing that part, I probably would not have known.
I went the whole movie. It's not like he was a huge part of the movie, you know.
No, but when he was in it,
5
probably,
minutes or
if you didn't
so.
know it was him, you probably wouldn't know it was him for sure. In fact,
Yeah.
don't tell people who it is and let them watch it if they don't know.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, that was the best acting job. And it's even he doesn't
Especially
change
at
his
the
voice
end
or
when
nothing. Yeah, he's dancing.
Almost blew it.
Yeah,
Watch it.
Playa.
Oh.
Yeah, I watched the movie and I loved it. You know, I thought it was hilarious, but it just had so many big actors in it already, and it was such a small role. I never even thought that I was like, well, who is that guy? Now I can't even think of who I thought it was. You know, I didn't even think it was anybody. I thought it was some new actor. Yeah, great role. Tropic Thunder.
I haven't seen that. I'm anxious to watch now because I'm looking for good movies.
It's stupid. It's
Hilarious,
stupid funny. Yeah.
Ridiculously stupid movie, but it is hilarious.
You can ask Josh; he'll give you some good movies.
Absolutely, at least really good 3/4 of a movie.
I'm gonna keep riding this one. Sorry about that.
It's all right. I don't mind. If I got to take it on the chin, I will. That's the way it goes.
So, do we want to try this or should we skip it? Do you have pictures there?
I had one picture.
You should have like 5
Some
of them.
Star
The one
Trails.
that you had. That's the Star Trail. One is you. I thought sent. Did I send them into different Iron Realm spots? Maybe I sent more than one Iron Realm. There's like 4. That was one sent separate.
I see. I thought you just posted the same one.
So that was a legit picture of the Star Trails, how they all sort of...
Yeah.
Hey, not for
Wow.
nothing, just because of the limited time frame of this gentleman's newborn child, well,
Okay.
5-month-old child.
So we're going to do it quick.
James
anyway.
is able to hop in. I don't know if you have to do something on your side, Josh. I sent him the link. I don't know what else has to happen. Is there open like multi lines? Can he get in?
Yeah, he can get in. I was just sort of, there was no name on there. I saw there was somebody there. I was just sort of waiting until the time to get.
I just got back because I've been digging through folders trying to find that flat Earth map in Houston, which I found, and you guys are going to see because I want Cameron to look at those outside lands for sure.
Should we do any? Josh, are you in a big hurry? That anywhere? Does anybody? Should we take him really quick and then go back to the map because I have a bunch of them. And I was going to show you the magnetics and where the map is now.
Being that he's got a kid involved, let's get James.
Yeah, do that.
Let's get James.
That'll give me a chance to organize.
He's been around these blocks once or twice. In fact, he broke my brain earlier in the show on chat. He dropped something that I had never seen, didn't know anything about. It was about what's the name of it now? I have to go back. What is dicyanin?
Did we cover this on Ironworks a few months ago?
Man, I completely forgot about it if we did.
I'm almost positive we could go
I remember
back.
the red mercury. That's what, when I first read this, that's what it reminded me of, the red mercury. And
It
I
might have
remember
been
that.
where that conversation started. I think might have been
Yeah,
with
this
this.
must have just got buried for me, and I left it alone.
I think
Go
so.
digging into it.
Stoner boy.
What is it? How do you spell that?
DICYANIN. And I'll drop a link to a little article that has some interesting little takes on it. Well,
I do believe we have James on here.
shit.
Mic
Howdy,
check, 1,
folks.
2. There he
Doggy
is.
dog. What's up, my
Hello.
friend?
What's going on?
How you doing, James?
Uh-oh. We had
How
it.
you doing?
Not too bad. What you been up to?
Oh, just fathering.
Yeah, ain't that something?
Oh, it's something else.
So other than diacetyl or whatever the hell it is, what else you been looking into, man?
I've been looking in a bunch of the old stuff that you kind of got me into back in the day with the spiritual. I forget that guy's name. The handbook that you always talk about.
Oh, the Jack London stuff.
Yeah.
With other beings, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I've been looking in Antarctica a bunch lately. There's been a bunch of talk about a hidden city under there, and it's kind of getting back to the flat Earth roots lately. Looking back at new information and old information, and kind of just reprocessing it with everything that's happened, and just trying to stay sane during COVID.
Right. Well, having that new kid wife, I'm sure has awakened a lot of things that has got you burning to change this world. So, yeah.
Well, you're just a little muffled. You may have to pull your hand away from your mouth.
I was sitting too far back. I got real comfortable. My bad.
No, I do the same.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, it's good that you're getting into it. I know having a newborn definitely can help wake up those fires that might get dampened down by the world. Kind of encourage you to start seeing what you can do to get things right for them.
Yes.
Or for them to make it right, whichever.
Yeah. It definitely changes your eyesight. You know, you can definitely wake up to things that you didn't need to care about before, right?
It changes everything. Is this your first?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's been quite a blessing. I wasn't supposed to be able to have children with the cancer that I went through in 2015. So it's a super blessing for us, and we're just grateful.
Not up to the doctors at all. You are blessed, and there's not a greater gift anywhere, anyhow. Until they get to be teenagers. Oh.
For a while. There you go. For a while, there you go.
I was waiting for the shoe to drop.
There's that 2-3-year-old area where they get to be a little handful too. So.
So you haven't heard anything, Walt, about that?
Right.
Nope. Sorry.
What'd you say, James?
I was just saying that you hadn't heard of that stuff, that dye, Walt?
I may have and just didn't go digging enough into it. Or maybe when I did go digging, which I've been doing here behind the scenes, there just wasn't anything about it. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I've hit a dead end. There's just not a lot of information. On the one hand, there's the people that say that this stain, this dye, applied between 2 layers of glass will allow people to see auras on other people easily because of what it does to the light spectrum. It's possible, very possible. I know there was a company that was trying to make some kind of lenses back. Man, that probably was around the beginning of us looking at all this crap. It was trying to make some glasses that would let you see auras and see
I'm
whatever
working on
might
it
be
too,
around.
by the way. I'm looking at when I'm playing with the Polaroid filters and that and seeing what we're picking up as auras. I'm experimenting with combinations and also wondering if that might be a side product from it. Is a way to pick up auras. I haven't figured it out yet, but it's one of the things I'm playing with. That's so fun.
Interesting. And what perked my ears up about it and wanted me to talk about it today was the fact that it was banned and then briefly available for sale. I found out in 2010, and then shortly banned afterwards.
Well, it says here somewhere, I saw in this article I was reading, that a person who has some decent chemical knowledge could formulate this for themselves, but I guess you would have to know, the fucking formula, which I'm not seeing anywhere yet. Like I said, there's very limited information about it. And of course, I've also a few debunking, it's just a dye that was expensive and didn't have many uses. That's the only reason it's illegal. Oh, that makes sense. Make it illegal to make it just because it costs too much.
I had a fun time playing Media Bears songs, walking around the lake in Oakland today with all the masked people. My buddy just playing it loud as people walk by. It was hilarious, man.
That's
one of the best. It's going to be a routine. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Give us the link there somewhere if you can for his music, man. I know I had it somewhere, but it would take me 20 minutes to dig it up.
Yeah. In the D Live, I think I put it in there.
Yeah.
There you go, Josh. You'll have to grab it.
I popped it up on screen there a while back.
Sorry, I'll get it. Yeah.
No, I can find it.
It'll be. And I know I've got it. I just thought he might have it handy right there.
I got you right here in my hot little hand. I'll drop it back into the chat. There.
How you guys been otherwise? Keeping busy, keeping sane on the plane.
As sane as possible in this craziness. We've all had ups and downs. We've all had good and bad. We've all had lots of changes for damn sure over this last year.
Changes.
Yeah. So, while it's been a fucking nightmare for everybody, it definitely has woken up some people and definitely has, solidified some people's stances, I guess. It's brought people to a whole new level of not letting themselves be intimidated by the worldly bullshit. Our buddy Allison who's already about to become the camera warrior if we can ever get her the training she needs. Damn it. We're going to do it, Allison. I promise. I'm not really great with my GoPro. I'm not much to train you on anything. Basically, I just started assembling my crap and seeing what would fit and angle to the guitar neck or to the handlebars on the bike. Concealing it on yourself is probably just, you'd have to work on your clothing and, that kind of thing to get it out of sight. But definitely people are getting bold these days. I like to see that. Especially with all the fucking tyranny around us right now.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Austin and Nathan Thompson both got spy glasses, so they had the cameras in the middle of their glasses. They're such awesome. No, I'm not kidding. They're so excited and they're like having so much fun with them. But yeah, they're definitely boys and toys. So spy glasses.
Yeah,
comic book ad for the spy pen and the spy camera in the back of the comics when we were kids.
Oh, I always wanted those things.
I find it's not even worth engaging with these people anymore. It's just let them walk by and let them hear the Chief Crow and Media Bear songs as they walk by in the lake with their masks. It's hilarious, man. Just bring a beer with you around the lake and let them walk by and just get a glimpse, get a few phrases or choruses out of it, as make them think. It's hilarious.
Who's the artist?
Bear and Chief Crow. They're two different artists.
Yeah, two different ones.
They're going to be at Plateau, or both of them are going to be at Solar Return.
Ooh, very cool. Interested to check them out.
It was 95% mask today, probably. Pretty sad. Pretty sad. In Oakland,
Yeah,
California.
fun.
I'm in Oakland.
I'm seeing less and less out here in somewhat rural South Carolina. We don't have any huge cities right next to us or anything like that. But I'm seeing less and less as it keeps dragging out. It seems
Agreed.
more, yeah, I get less looks, less people turning away, a lot more smiles from people that are working in the grocery stores and stuff like that. You can see the smile behind their mask now instead of the just like the look of disdain almost, without having a look of disdain. Yeah, people are sick of it. They're fed up with it around here. They're like, this is dumb. I don't see why we're still doing this. It's not 50. Yeah, it's not 50-50 yet, but it's definitely getting better around here.
I had like 10 people say I was an idiot. Through their mask also.
Well, yeah, Oakland, that's a pretty big town.
Yeah.
And you're on the West Coast, liberal, all that.
Socialist capital of the world.
Yeah.
Totally.
And I mean, they want to call it liberal and even socialism or even communism. It's beyond that now. We're at fascism stuff. When they're starting to say, you can't speak, then that's beyond socialism and well, not so much communism, I guess. Well, according to the laws of communism, at least. They all go way beyond what, the paper writes. Because when you read about communism, it sounds great. It's like, yeah, that'd be wonderful. And then you throw humans in the mix and they gunk it all up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fascism.
Good intentions behind all of it, but then bad people get involved, and it's up to citizens to keep all this in check. And I hate to say it, but we're all lazy. Maybe not everybody, but people want to do what they have to do to survive and spend some time with their families. They don't want to have to watch the people that they elected to run the place.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to have to babysit these people. Yeah. I don't, but we have to. That's part of our job, as a citizen.
The majority of the people here need to be babysitted. They want it. I mean,
yes.
Not even the majority. It's almost 95%.
Have you talked to anybody about the flu? To me, that would be just a huge thing that would actually maybe help to wake some people up. Like, I mean, how do they rationalize it to you that there's almost no cases? The flu's been eradicated this year.
Because the masks are working so great, and if you wouldn't be so entitled and wear your mask, we could get rid of it entirely.
Yep. Masks and social distancing. Same way we're getting those COVID numbers down.
That's a baked answer. Wow.
Yeah.
Keeps the illusion going, I guess.
Yeah. Same thing with the whole vaccine thing with polio. Well, polio or vaccines eradicated polio. No, polio was gone before vaccines even came out. The vaccine came out, it was 98% eradicated. Because guess what?
I was just reading that.
And gave them sewers so they didn't have to sit around in their shit and end up drinking it. So yeah, they got healthier. It wasn't because they got shot in the arm with a bunch of garbage.
Now, our COVID numbers are going down here, and especially in areas that haven't even started vaccination. And so our press is dealing with it the only way they can. They lie and they spin it. They said that the reason the numbers are going down, don't let your defenses down, don't take off those masks. The reason the numbers are going down is not because it's disappearing or going out. It's because there's another variant that their test isn't picking up that's probably even worse, even though nobody was getting sick in that. They make shit up. I mean, they make shit up again. Oh, the fluid's so much better, because of this. And I'm testy today because my sissy proudly posted her second vaccine dose today, and I told her that I hope that she's okay, and I don't want her to die from it. I don't want her to get sick. I don't want her to have a bad. It scares me, and she laid into me, and it's like she's like, no, you need to be happy for me, and that it's like I was so angry about it, so angry.
Yeah. We're generally very accepting people until we're told to accept something. I'm sure you were fine with it, but just don't throw it in my face type deal, hey?
But that's the whole thing with this is they told it that it's not only do we have to do it, you have to do it too, so we can have our herd of sheep.
A couple of people with masks, without masks, that had their kids without masks. One father who was super cool, they say that they had COVID already, and now they're fine. That's the typical argument with, not even an argument, but the excuse that they have, essentially.
Oh, no, you didn't read today's paper then, because today's paper says that people that had COVID, once they can get it again, and if they get it again, it's probably going to even be worse. This COVID works like no other disease in the past. You have to keep your defenses up, and no, they covered that today in the news. It was big news.
Question for you there. Does your sister know that, how does she rationalize the fact that even though she has now her vaccine schedule and the doses, that she still has to mask up, still can't go to groups? Like, how does she rationalize that? How are they explaining that in one way?
Because it is for everybody, and if I wouldn't be so selfish, I would see that.
Well, they're not giving immunizations now.
No, they don't know. If they don't know right now, another headline today, they are testing and looking for the efficiency in people vaccinated, people being able to transmit the disease. So they have no. They say that even if you're vaccinated, that you'll still get the disease, but you'll get a weaker version of it now. But you can still transmit it. And I mean, no matter what they add, it's not like any other flu, like the Spanish flu that went away. The things that they compare it to and say that you have to do it because of this.
We're going to put RNA in your body. It's still you're still going to get it, and you can still give it to people. But here, have another one. What the fuck?
Right. And then there's going to be another variant, and so they're already planning on annual boosters. They also don't know. They're deciding that like after the 3 months, because right now they only know that the vaccines are tested after 3 months. Now they think that they'll still be effective past then, but they only know how effective they are as they like test the guinea pigs. And again, in a globular substance that there's nothing like it in your human body. I don't know. It sounds. And today Johnson & Johnson got their contract for making vaccines. They got their okay and approval on their vaccine because you know what a good job they did with baby powder.
Yeah.
Hello, Talc.
Mm-hmm.
What does it take for us not to? I mean, on the pharmaceutical companies and watching the commercials for them go, and the same show the commercials called The Lawyer. If you have these side effects, because it's worth people dying over with the pharmaceuticals to keep the other ads on, because you don't pay out as much in death. When do we just look what's going on right in front of our faces?
I told the lady at work about that Johnson & Johnson thing, and her face turned white, her jaw just dropped, and she's like, my mother died of cervical cancer, and she used that stuff every single day. Every day, all the little old ladies did. They did it was keeping clean and keeping your panties dry and being ladylike in that. They all did it. They knew it caused it, and they buried the information because they didn't want to lose profits. For over a decade. They buried it. That hurt.
Uh-huh.
Telling her that.
But that's nothing new. It's not, and people do, again, it's a numbers game. It's all a numbers game. And again, a numbers game that like they put the little fear into it. And then I noticed that we launched missiles into Syria because I'm guessing they think that in America, in order to get presidential support in here and songs and things written above you, and you do a door, you throw missiles at an Arab country, and then you can remember all the songs we had with Obama and the little memes and the fun things.
How many times do we invade places or bomb places when Trump was president?
I don't think we did. I don't remember any. But I know that we just went in and sent missiles in retaliation at Syria. But we tend to do that because I don't know, because again, you just like the way that they bravado. Oh, Biden's slipping into polls. Let's bomb an Arab country. Sorry. That's how I see it. It's not. I mean, that's definitely filtered through my eyes. But I read the news, and
it's true. If you want to go up in the polls, go bomb little brown babies
right.
Yeah.
And we're patriots. We support that.
I was reading about this boxer. He had 100% knockout record with like 28 wins. Something insane. He was from Syria. He was killed in a bombing strike.
That's awful. Reminds me of the Iranian wrestler that was executed this year for a political reason.
Executed for political reason. There's not that shouldn't exist.
No. And even Dana White and a whole bunch of other people were pleading with the government there in Iran to try and save this, very special athlete. But no, he was executed.
Well, that's going to be the new enemy now. I think it's going to be Iran. I think they're next on the list.
And Iran is fun because Iran is not an Arab country, even though we act like it is. It is Indo-European. Farsi is a Indo-European language, not a they're not. I think they have blue eyes. They have Iranian is land of Ra Aryans. Same. They have ties with Ireland and things like that. But if you look at historical Iran, and this is not it's not an Arab country at all. If you look at it, they say they're not an Arab country. They land of Ra, Iran, or the Aryan land. They are named for the Aryans, the Aryan people, the blue-eyed race that historically were in Persia. That were not. It's not evil. It's nothing that was done in Hitler. All of this stuff is all turds in the punch bowl, so you don't look at swastikas, so you don't look at true history. They turded the punch bowl on it, but it's nuts. Again, I'm rambling. See what happens when Cammie doesn't sleep?
I missed all this being involved, and I missed hearing all this talk, and so I'm just enjoying myself very much. Thank you.
Nice.
All right, guys, I gotta move on and get ready to help the wife. So, thanks for everything.
You have yourself a great Saturday, Lucas.
Surely,
you guys
man.
have fun. Be safe.
Alex, thank you for sharing while y'all are busy. Hey, hit me up tomorrow. I may hit you up tomorrow for some technical stuff I'm trying to work out here, sir.
Yep, do that.
Well, not me. A friend of mine called me with a question. I'm like, I don't know, but I know a guy who will. So, but we'll get on it another time.
Okay.
Yeah, don't be
great
spitting
talking
in
to
the
you
food,
guys.
Lucas.
Yeah.
All right, man.
We'll move for you tonight, Lucas. Put a good precedent for Saturday for us, because we're having a crappy Friday here. So you set the tone for Saturday, okay?
That's it.
What'd you say, Zach? Don't spit in the food.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I'll do that. All right, guys. See ya.
All right. Take it easy, Lucas.
Later.
Bye, Lucas.
So 3 days ago, I took 12 little pots and filled them with dirt. And in that dirt, I put south-facing magnets at the bottom. Then each little pot got 3 little seeds.
And
today I have 3 little sprouts. Took 3 days to sprout those seeds in the water. I watered it once when we planted the seeds. I have not watered them at all. They're still moist. The soil is still dark with water. As dry and crazy the air has been, this
the magnetic field holds it in.
Held it in.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit.
And I got
Oh,
3
my
spots.
God, I never thought about that.
Well, I remember saying that the plants take less water. I was thinking maybe they used less water, but you can water less because the soil will hold the water in there better.
It won't
Yeah.
evaporate out. No shit.
That's awesome.
So 3 little cute little plants.
Over the top cool. Over the top while we're doing this, what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I am too. I'm excited for us to get planning. It's coming up soon, Zach. Full moon. Full moon tomorrow night, people. Watch out for the crazies. The energy is nuts. This is called a snow
That might be part of
moon.
what we're feeling right now.
I know. I wondered if it's going to be so intense this time. I didn't see what the distance was or if there's anything spectacular. I do know it's a snow moon, which makes it evil because snow should die and be gone forever. Yeah.
I like that.
Because it's the
It's evil.
second full moon of February. Makes it a snow moon.
No, they named the moons. That would make it a blue moon if it's the second. Is it a blue moon this month? Is it the
No.
second full moon? No.
No, is it not?
No.
How
No.
could it be? It's only 27th.
No, it's a snow moon. They have like worm moon, harvest.
Yeah, every
you
month
have your,
has a name.
every
Wolf
month has
moon,
got
rose
a.
moon, pink moon, whatever.
This is snow moon.
Was named after the flowers. We should see these flowers. It's on the eastern mountainsides.
Nice.
There's little pink flowers that start forming in April. So April is your pink moon. Yeah, each of you have your harvest moon, your wolf moon, your hunter's moon.
Now I know that in Colorado, certainly not here, but in Colorado, right after this moon, it's going to usher in what's one of the historically snowiest months of the year in Denver. February is colder, not as snowy, but March it starts to get really snowy, and it is the snowiest month of the year in Denver. And so I think it's interesting the snow moon is starting that period. Doesn't come into play here at all, but works in Denver.
So James had to take off. The baby got up, started crying. So
love you,
James had to
James.
go bolt.
Hang out more with us, my friend. Get with us.
Thanks so much for coming to hang out with you, James. It was awesome
Absolutely, man.
having you here.
Hug that
I'm
baby.
gonna jump off too. Thanks for having me.
Oh, that's awesome. Any word? Thanks for hopping on. It's
Thank you, anywhere. Thank you for that map. And if like everybody get that map, man, don't let it disappear. Because anytime we put our focus on shit, that's usually when they start disappearing it off the internet. So that's a good little map.
1952 Air Force map.
Yep, gonna hold on to it.
That's awesome. $250 on eBay. Damn.
Cheers, man. Thanks.
All right. Thanks. Have a great night. Have a great
care,
weekend.
Later, man.
Well, before we wind this thing completely down, I dug and missed some of the conversation to find this damn video. So let me share it with you guys real quick. And this is my video on my computer. Fuck you, YouTube.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. I don't need your shit.
Don't need your shit. Don't want
All
your
right.
shit.
Full screen.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
shit. Hang on.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Are you hearing it?
Yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay.
We were, I
didn't know
thought.
you could.
Yeah.
It is here. I am in Houston. Flat Earth, Tree of Life, and the Dome. And there's all
Remember up
this.
there, there was shaped right, even right.
Right here in their faces, and none of them are looking at it. Just walking over it like it's nothing. Incredible.
What is that?
There's some of those outer lines. You see the 3 extended lines that went out past the circle? I just walked past it. It'll come back around in a minute.
All right. And the tree says, I don't know what that means.
Country music.
Yes.
I think I go back to those outer lands. Caught my attention immediately. Okay, another video. Hang on. It does continue on.
Part 2.
Hell, I didn't even get the dome.
You see how they have those
Really
lines?
Yeah, doing it. There's
No ice rain. That inner circle with those weird extra lines coming off.
it looked like the pole was going through America, the Northwest.
No, it is. That's the tree is planted over Texas. That's part of this being in Houston. I think those are the outer lands, and there's those extra lines.
Okay.
Extra old line they put.
Now, where are the continents in front there? Where are you?
You'll see it in a second. Let me pause it so we can see. Because I walked over to it, so let me go back. All right, so that's North America, South America. East, that must be Hawaii that I just walked across. So is this like...
That's New Zealand right there.
Outside, I was going to say, is this outside of where our buddy is there?
No, that's New Zealand.
Holy shit. Well, so why is it showing it outside these lines when everything
I don't know.
Like that?
Because...
And they're distinct lines that are separate. They're not in the big circle. They're three. They come radiating out like they're not.
Because they're down under. Are the other lines down under like that, or again maybe it's the way they took it
when I walk around it again, we'll see it. Okay, the next video. Yeah, that's when I noticed that little weird line.
Africa, there. That's where you just came from. Is where the land should have been.
But where does that line lead to for no reason? There's some outer shit. Those have the three ring. I don't know. I don't have a clue. I've got pictures too. Hang on. So there is the tree. And that would be, so what is this? This is New Zealand, you said? Or is this Australia?
Well, I think, if the tree is in Texas, we're South America.
South America would be like over to the right side right now. Let me go to the next picture, see if I can move over a little bit. I wish I could have got further back, but I mean, I'm standing on it, so it's hard to get a long shot from it.
Yeah, you'd have
to. In fact, I saw after I was walking away that it was time for my plane, and as I walked away, I saw an upper level that I could have gotten to somewhere else if there were no stairs right there.
Oh, somebody's had to have done it though. Somebody's had to have taken it.
There are other photos. They're hard to find. It took me 20 minutes to find any pictures online of this. You had to search for exactly Tree of Life, map, George Bush International Airport, Houston, and it finally came up with like 3 different pictures, but none of them show it completely. It's such a
steady red
thing. It's hard to get all in one picture.
Do you see where your line's coming at you right now? That curved line coming at right there. And see how that line is drawing down? You're drawing it down towards the bottom of the screen. Exactly that line. If you followed that line, that's where the other continent.
Well, see, that's a weird line, and that's a weird line. I noticed them.
So I don't know I don't know where it goes on there, but
I was trying to find information about the artist behind this, and all I can find is that founder name that you see at the base of this and that list of music people. There's no actual artist that I can find listed that we could maybe contact. Maybe if I contact, and they had these trees about 3 feet over outside those rings, these trees, which I thought, that was when all the whole trees on flat earth and stumps and all that, just as that was happening, this whole thing, like, that's really weird to have this right next to the fucking map,
I think
I don't know where
I'm excited about mapping again. Springtime is coming, and I'm really getting the itch to do it. I know I was talking to Baldini earlier today. He's itching. I'm itching. Zach, are you starting to itch yet?
Oh, yeah.
To get a little bit warmer, I need my office to open up and the toys to. We had the UV lights out and some of the things with Jonna and Janet and had fun with it. So it's just getting. I swear to God, I'm allergic to winter. It sucks. It's awful.
Steady Red in chat had to go get some sleep. He had an appointment, and it's 2 a.m. there.
Who is that?
Steady Red.
I didn't realize we've been almost 3 hours already.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we're over. We're 20 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
There we go.
I think we should say goodnight and do the mapping on another time, especially when I've slept in that. I mean, I could go
Get you some rest, lady.
But yeah, let's sleep and come out fresh and hold the things and the ideas and the dreams. I got a lot of neat ideas on today's show.
Yeah,
This was
show
really
has
fun
been
for
a mind
me.
breaker, off and on, left and right, here and there, lots of good stuff. Thank you all for calling in. James, especially, dude. I love you, miss you. Come hang out. Any word? What was it? I'm sorry.
Yep, that's right.
Thank you, anywhere. Appreciate that map, man. I'm definitely going to be digging into that one. I thought I had all the flat maps. I don't have that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a damn good one. Thank you, Lucas. Sorry you had to go early.
Don't spit in the food.
Or do anything worse. Tyler Durden.
Oh, well, then, on that note, thank you in chat, everybody. Y'all rock. Rock, rock, rock. Thank y'all so much. Share the links. Get this channel out there, man. We're going to have to grow this damn thing a little bit more because I had a buddy call me tonight and go, dude, why aren't y'all doing your show anymore? And I'm like, we are doing it right now. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Sorry, man. And I told him, to go to the podcast channel. So there are people out there that are looking for us that are hoping we're coming back to our main channel. So we definitely need to get the word out. Tell your friends. Tell anybody that didn't know we got punished that we're over here on this Iron Realm Media podcast channel. Let them know. Share it. Get it out there. Please help us get this bit of the realm bigger than it is, because definitely we're going to be here till, what is it, May?
Yeah, something like that, I think.
Like that.
Oh, but hold it. Are you ready?
Oh, yes.
We can premiere them on the other channel now. The week was when you could premiere. The first week was you couldn't do anything. Right now you can premiere them. You just cannot. Yeah, I've been in. I know all about being under strike.
Well, then shit, we should do that.
So yeah, any of these you can premiere and put on there and do the live chat with the premiere. You just cannot do a live show for 3 months, but you can do it as a premiere. And I think we should. Like run them over as a premiere.
Well, yeah, like I said, people are looking for us on our main channel, which is, it's good to hear. Thank you guys for missing us there. Yes. And definitely, like I said, when my buddy called me tonight, it hit me like, well, shit, there's probably a whole lot of people that aren't on YouTube, aren't on Twitter, that don't have a clue what the fuck happened and wonder where we are. So I guess we need to take out some billboards.
Something. Well, Christ, it took us 5 years to get
so
the
2015
3,350 subs we got over there on the main channel. I'm lucky to hit 240 here on the backup.
I know that if we find a way, like in the future, and right now it doesn't work, so it's not, it's just not meant to be. But in the future, when we're not doing restream and it's going out on those groups, if I had a link a few hours ahead of the show, social media, and it would let everybody know where it's going. But once I'm on the show, I don't have the attention span for it.
Yeah, we're all doing things, right? What we'll do is in that little 20 or 30 minutes when we're sitting here before we go live, we'll remember to do that and let you pop something over instead of us just yabbering until we go live. We just never think about it. I never think about it.
I never think about it either, but I always think about it before.
I don't even share our own show till probably 30 minutes in. Like, oh shit, I need to share. So that's when I'll start sharing it, if I even remember to do it, because I'm usually so wrapped up in the conversation that I'm lost with it. So
that's exactly what happens.
This channel and us growing this crap, we never meant this to be the big channel, or we just wanted to meet people and know people and get some ideas out there and find family, and that's really what we've done. So definitely help this channel if you can, but it really isn't about the numbers. It's just about getting the family we have back in here with us, damn it.
Yep.
If we put it out there, they will come.
Yeah, I can probably do that. I can run a Premiere from my phone, even if I wanted to. I can download pretty easily and upload it to YouTube and set it as a Premiere. Ought not be that difficult. But I think the time has come.
Nemo just noticed something in chat, or just said something in chat about the community posts on YouTube. See, I never do that. I see Martin do them all the time. I never think about it. Just not the multimedia dude, apparently. But definitely we're going to start getting that over there on our channel, for sure.
Well, hopefully we'll try to get over there on Lighthouse somehow. Be a beta tester on Lighthouse.
They're hopefully going up for beta testing next month. So, I mean, within a few days, we're waiting to hear. They have been in contact.
Well, if they're still needing beta testers, you tell Bob to drop them our name.
Definitely. Definitely.
All right, then, guys. Thanks for putting up with me tonight. It's been, I've been just a bit askew. Yeah.
Tom put us in chat. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, shout out Tom. All right, then. Here's a little bit of Full Armor OG original tunage. Here's some stuff that he put together once upon a long time ago. This is the stuff he gave to voiceover. Just little music beds that we could talk over. Something to speak over. We could speak over this if we wanted to. So thanks again, James. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us tonight. Again, apologies. I let everybody else carry the show, and a fine job they did so I could zone out. Anyway, love you guys. We'll see you right back here next Friday. We'll see who we can't get lined up. Anyway, be good. Be well. Have a great weekend. Stay human. Stay human. Bye-bye.